already. What's the latest you're seeing there?
Yeah, well, we have 2 tornado warnings just issued for the local 5 area. We'll cover this southern one first into Adair and also Adams County. This goes until 3:45, and then a little further to the north of that into Cass County. We do have another one. We'll go over to Max 2
Yeah,
if
let's go to Max 2. Yeah,
and we'll cover those warnings there until 3:30. So we have radar indicated tornadoes. The one on the north entering Cass County has a history of producing a tornado. It was back closer towards Red Oak. I'll take a little bit of a closer view in, and we're watching a couple of areas of rotation right now. The most intense is near Villisca down into Montgomery County, just south and east of Red Oak, and you can see that there is a strong rotation there. Yeah. There has been a report of a funnel with this one, but no confirmed touchdowns at this point.
Yeah, the atmosphere is ripe here. Of course, we had thunderstorms earlier today, but the warm, humid air has returned and is starting to feed these thunderstorms, so it's really just beginning. It's going to move all the way through central Iowa, so get ready for that. Again, there's our rotation. You can see it between Griswold and the Grant area. That's one circulation. This one's a harder one for the spotters to see because it has been rain wrapped, so it's going to be difficult to spot. The one on the southern end will probably be a little bit easier, and that's a little bit messy there now with that latest scan, but there's still definitely some rotation there in near the Villisca area.
Yeah, we're kind of in that in-between part of the area between the radar picture between Omaha and Des Moines, so you may see those colors fluctuate a little bit depending on exactly where we're lining up the radar. I think the strongest couplet right now is the southernmost, and I think that's going to be the most prime area to see a tornado form as we move forward. That southern end is unobstructed to moist and warm air, and further up the line it becomes a little bit more troubled in terms of the atmosphere trying to help keep these sustained. I am going to pull the storm reports on, and you'll see that there was a brief touchdown there just west of Red Oak that was actually by the airport, and it did appear to be brief. Some hail reports in there too, and a few funnels coming in out of these 2 cells so far.
Yeah, this has been the active part. The southern part of this storm we think is going to be the most active even going into the afternoon. So that does include the metro south of I-80 might be the most active, although the watch does include all of Iowa at this time. But this is what we're watching, these 2 cells right here. And they've been kind of twin storms actually, with the one already producing a tornado, the rain-wrapped one, and then the southern one, which is maybe more interesting and maybe more dangerous as Chris puts a storm track on it. Again, they're moving, almost 50 miles per hour off.
I'm going to redraw that.
Yeah, it is moving at a pretty good clip. So it's going to be heading toward Greenfield, generally speaking, and definitely the Carbon area, Orient area, Fontenelle area. It's all coming up into your area. So coming up into southern Adair County and beyond, because they are moving at a pretty good clip here. And you can see those areas again: Bridgewater at 326, Greenfield approximately 338, and Stewart perhaps closer to just before 4 o'clock. So we're going to keep an eye on these cells for sure. We've had some reports of some hail earlier, but lately we haven't seen too much of that. It's been pretty much this tornado threat lately. And so we're watching these storms because we do expect more development through the afternoon hours as these move off to the east here.
And Brad, that southern one now has a confirmed tornado on the ground right at Highway 34 and Highway 71. So just north of Villisca, that's that strongest of the 2 areas of rotation that we're kind of telling you about. And that is coming in from Montgomery Emergency Management telling us that this one is now confirmed on the ground.
Right here. It's coming closer, of course, to Nottoway area. Let's zoom in for a little closer here. There's some towns right there, Chris, that will be coming into our viewing area. So Adams County is part of our viewing area here. Of course, Omaha kind of overlaps with this area, but there is a little town in this area. There he is. We got there's Dickeyville, and I thought I saw another town. Maybe it's just on mine.
Well, Lincoln Center, Quincy, Morton Mills, Tenville, Scola need to be seeking shelter. Really anyone inside this red polygon, and we'll see it likely turn from red to pink now that we have confirmation that this is in fact on the ground. Again, that coming to us from emergency management. Strong rotation here, Brad.
Yeah, strong rotation. Probably the best rotation we've seen with the storm so far. You can see that right in that area there, the brighter colors kind of touching each other. Basically, we call that gate-to-gate shear. So one wind is going one direction, one is going the other, and the radar can see that it's a rotation right there where that tornado was spotted, and we do expect it to stay on the ground here. So seek shelter immediately in these areas, Quincy, Carl, right up into southern and southwestern Adair County. You are in this path of this tornadic storm right now. And the other one, Chris, kind of embedded in that rain, harder to see. But this is our main concern right now with that tornado confirmed. There is rotation.
It is rain wrapped, and it's also broad up there north of Grant, south of Atlantic. That's again Highway 71. So we're going to be watching that one. But typically in the setup that we have here, that's not going to be an area that's favored to rapidly strengthen. Of course, we're going to be monitoring it for you. We have eyes in the field as well. And so far, things are fairly quiet on that northern circulation.
And they've issued a flash flood warning up here too, Chris, because this area has seen so much rainfall over the last 24 hours or so. So you folks are going to have heavy downpours here. Do not go out and drive out there. It's going to be pretty dangerous with these heavy thunderstorms coming through. And this is the 24-hour estimated rainfall. And, you know, we're talking, 6 inches of rain has fallen already. We could get another quick 2 inches maybe from these storms. You just don't know. So not a good night to be out or afternoon to be out right now. These are dangerous storms coming into western Iowa, and they'll be heading into central Iowa. You can bet on that. Probably, we think before 4 o'clock they could be here. So maybe about an hour or so we're going to be talking about these coming into the western side of the viewing area, or the western part of the metro. So again, tornado has been confirmed down here and continues to move off to the northeast, Chris, and it looks like it's heading right into the northwestern portion of Adams County. Yeah,
it is, and this is now confirmed, and we'll be awaiting further reports to see. I'm going to jump over to the CC and see if we can see anything on debris detector. Not quite sure that's going to get it done. Normally we're looking for those deep dark blues, but you notice it is a slight lowering there, Brad. I think north of Villisca there, kind of expanding out as that wind catches it. Yeah, right about the Highway 34 shield. Yeah.
I agree. That does show like something that might be in the air. So what this debris detection does, it basically looks for debris in the air, things that don't look like raindrops or hail or anything around. So it does see something in that area. And again, crossing Highway 34 north of Villisca and heading toward Quincy in general, Quincy, Carl, this area of Adams County, get to your shelter, get to the lowest floor of your home, or go to the basement, obviously the best place, away from the windows, all of that. We can put those rules up for you in just a bit, but definitely seek shelter in this area. So that is a confirmed tornado. When you see this color of a warning, that's a tornado warning, but that color tells you that we have a confirmed tornado in that area. So it is moving through northwestern Adams County right now.
There is a lot of rural area out there too. Quincy, you need to be seeking shelter now in your safe place. The village of Carbon, extending further to the north and east. We'd be looking at the northern part of the county there. Not seeing much for communities. There would be Carl included in that. Please be seeking shelter here as we're starting to see that rotation pull a little bit further north now in through the county. It is crossing into Adams County at the moment.
Yeah, and I did see Mount Etna. I don't know if we said that name, but Mount Etna, you are definitely in the path of this tornado, so seek shelter in that area as well. So we got these thunderstorms going on here. We've got thunderstorms to the north. There is our shear detection, and it's lagging a little bit behind. Of course, these are moving pretty quickly, but this is where it was. Now I think it's probably crossed over.
Yeah.
Crossed over the county line by now. But these are the two areas we're watching. And it kind of just takes away everything so you can see exactly where that rotation is. Crossing Highway 34, as Chris said, also crossing that county line and heading in the direction of Quincy right now.
And so far, very little in terms of additional reports to that, whether or not this is still going to be on the ground or not. But we have seen that confirmation that it is. And this has been the strongest area of rotation on the southern side. I'd be watching down into Taylor County and how this line eventually evolves further to the south. There are some new cells that are beginning to develop down there as I back things up. New cells taking over. And I think as we continue to see time run its course, we'll be looking at the southern end of this line most predominantly as we continue to move forward through the afternoon. So I think we're going to be with you for a solid 3 hours or so. These storms are moving quickly, and that's good news when it comes to the flash flooding threat, because we've already seen many locations, especially north of I-80, 3 to 6 inches of rainfall. Widespread flash flooding in some of these zones that are seeing flash flood warnings and flood warnings across the northern half of the state.
You know, Chris, they did confirm what we were seeing, that debris ball. The Weather Service also saw that. They say, yes, considerable damage could be coming from this system. Of course, thankfully, as we said, it's in a rural area, but again, this is debris detection here, and it looks like that's where we had the tornado spotted, north of Villisca, and now it's moving up into Adams County right now, and looks like it may pass to the north of Quincy, but you folks in Quincy should be in your shelters right now. And we're still seeing, when I look at it, I see a pretty good debris signature there as well.
It lines up with that couplet there, so it gives you that higher confidence that that is indeed what it is.
We do have some video we acquired from Twitter, or X, I guess I should say. So if we can show that, we got video from X, and this is some video earlier. There it is, Chris, on the ground.
Wow.
Large tornado near Villisca. 3 p.m.
Yeah, and we can you can see the funnel portion of it that's condensed down. It doesn't extend all the way, but it is kicking up the debris from the ground, so we can confirm that is indeed on the ground there.
Yeah, and that often happens. The condensation funnel may not look like it's reaching the ground, but the debris doesn't lie. And you know those winds are twisting and turning and causing damage at the surface. So officially tornado. So again, we got that rotational element right here, probably just northwest of Quincy is where the strongest rotation is. So again, that's mostly a rural area. Looks like, you know, we've got, you know, what I'm trying to see if there's any towns in that area.
There's not a lot. I've been scouring. I've zoomed in pretty closely, Brad. It is awfully rural. Lake Icaria, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is also in the vicinity as well. Perhaps a campground or so out there. There's Williamson in the northeastern portion of the county, should this one persist, that we'd want to pay attention to. There's kind of two areas that are developing, at least with some signal of velocity. That northern one now, this is near Quincy. This is the one that has the confirmed tornado on the ground, but there are some strong outbound winds down here just south of Highway 34 too that we'd want to be watching as we continue through time. And you know what, Brad? I think that's a debris ball there too.
I do.
Highway 34.
Just west of Brooks. It looks like it could be. Yeah.
So Corning, seek shelter, and there's actually a new tornado warning here.
So this is our debris area. This is our debris area. So we believe we have 2 tornadoes on the ground right now in this area. So they've really just kind of popped up. This one right here, yes, Highway 34, and that one as well. So again, tornado warning. I think we'll probably see a new tornado warning come out.
Oh, there is one right now.
There is one.
Just looking at it, it's in place until 4 o'clock.
It may go purple.
Yeah, it will, based on that. And I'll pull it up here on Max 2 so you can see it. So they're basically overlaying each other to an extent, and it is there. There's 2 distinct areas of rotation, and the storms are going to recycle on us. I think we're going to see one tornado form, and then it's going to start fading away, and then there's going to be another one develop further to the south. And I think that stair-stepping as it moves north, we're going to continue to see another one develop on that southern edge. Yeah. So Adams County right now, 2 threats, and I will call it 2 confirmed tornadoes that are on the ground, and we can confirm that by looking at the debris detection. Corning, Prescott need to be seeking shelter. Anywhere north and west of Quincy, west of Carl, needs to be seeking shelter at this point. the central and northern portions of Adams County at this point. You can see those two debris balls right in there.
Right here and right here, yes. We're looking at those and they're moving right through. This is Adams County, southwest Iowa. They're moving northeast at approximately 50 miles per hour. At least that's the last time I saw that, Chris. Let's double check.
Brad, just to report, there's a campground at US 34 and US 71 that appears to have taken a direct hit per law enforcement. So, yeah, there is a confirmed tornado on the ground and it's doing damage, friends.
Oh boy. So the newsroom will probably look into that to see what has happened there. Again, at campgrounds, the newsroom might want to look into that. And where was that again?
US 34 and US 71.
US 71, so that Villisca area?
Yes, just north of Villisca.
North of Villisca, campgrounds north of Villisca, just outside our viewing area, but still, what a rough spring we've had, especially around the Omaha area. Well, again, these are the two areas we think we have tornadoes because we have the debris signature, so it looks like it has touched down in these areas. Both are in Adams County, heading into, well, right around the Quincy area, Carl, Prescott, Mercer. You're close enough, basically, so all these areas, Corning for sure, you're very close to this area, so seek shelter immediately in Adams County right now as they move off to the northeast. And I looked at the speed, Chris, 55 miles per hour was the latest speed.
Yeah, they're moving quickly here. So two areas of rotation. I'm being told that we have additional video coming in from the Red Oak and Adams County area. Let's go ahead and pull that up and take a look at what we have. We are hearing reports of some damage out there. This near Villisca, as it was near the Highway 34, Highway 71 intersection there. That is technically just to the west into Montgomery County, but just a stone's throw outside of the local 5 area. And that is with that northern, ooh, there's that tornado. It is very distinct stovepipe there.
And this may be the one that actually hit that campground. Chris.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where that one is. I can't quite read the text here.
The text,
this one is near Red Oak. So from a little bit earlier, prior to the Villisca one, that we did have some additional tornadoes up there. But yeah, definitely a couple of areas that we're watching right now. 2 confirmed tornadoes to be on the ground. We have 2 pink tornado warnings that are giving us that confirmation dialogue.
So folks here in the metro, of course we have a lot of people living in the metro right around the Polk County area. Get ready for severe weather, whatever that means for you. Get everybody home, get everybody safe, have a plan in place because this is the time to prepare, not before when the warning is issued. So you want to get ready now because these are coming in fast and furious, about 55 miles per hour, and they will make it to the metro with quite a bit of strength. I mean, this thing is not as far from over, basically. We've got a lot of warm, humid air. The atmosphere reloaded. After we had the morning storms, we've got that warm, humid air coming in. So these storms have just begun, and we're going to continue to see more development.
And Brad, we're just getting confirmation here in the last couple of seconds that there is still confirmation that this southern tornado is on the ground near Corning. So Corning, continue to seek shelter for a confirmed tornado that is on the ground in Adams County. We have 2 of them, in fact, at this point.
Okay, so keep an eye on that. You folks in Adams County, and especially the Corning area, you should be in your shelter right now. And this is going to be pushing off to the northeast, so it's going to be heading generally into the Prescott area and toward areas like Nevinville and Orient and heading up into Adair County. So southern Adair County, get ready for these storms heading your way.
2 confirmed tornadoes. We'll go to the debris detection here, and you can see those 2 lowerings of that from the red into the blue color. This is where those tornadoes are. Central and northwestern Adams County at the moment, and moving to the north and east with time 55 miles per hour. I'm going to go ahead and put a track on each of these, and we'll let you know who is next in line to see them. So looking at Carl here in 324, you're kind of splitting right between these 2 areas that we're watching. Safe place now, please. Lowest level interior room. Fisk and Greenfield, should these continue to hold on down the line, we're over 20 minutes away to 30 minutes away from each of you as these storms are well to your south and west, but they are booking quickly.
And a new warning has been issued, Chris. Maybe we'll take a look at that. It's in Audubon heading into Guthrie County.
Okay.
It's that original cell. It was rain wrapped, still has rotation, still wants to produce a tornado. So a tornado warning. It's the strongest circulation just south of Exira right here. So that's where the strongest rotation is right now, and it's heading up to the northeast again.
Ooh, that's pinpointed too.
Yeah, yep, that is the area, and it's heading right through Audubon County here in southeastern Audubon County, heading into southwestern Guthrie County. There's Highway 44 right there. So
I would say that would be confirmed too, Brad, just east of Oakfield.
it looks like maybe, yeah, something right here.
Yeah, so we're starting to see.
Let's match that up with the velocity. Is
Yeah.
it too far south or not?
No, I think that matches up pretty good.
It does. So it may have touched down. So, yeah, so we've got a very active situation here, folks. Everything taken seriously because we have had numerous reports of tornadoes and 2 on the ground right now, possibly 3 on the ground as we look at that detection there.
Estimated times of arrival getting into Exira around 3:18 with this northern tornado. I'm going to go ahead and say this one is confirmed as well based on what we saw on CC data. Guthrie Center, should this one hold, will be in your area 3:38, and Bayard on down the line 3:44. Continue to seek shelter if you are in the warned area for this tornado warning. Currently, just to the south and east of Exira, and Exira, you should be in your safe place as well at this point. It is currently a red polygon. I would expect it to turn pink based on what we've seen on radar. We can use that radar to help us confirm when these tornadoes are on the ground, Brad.
We've got very strong rotation with that far southern warning. It's been confirmed, but this is going to be north of Corning, and it is a strong pocket of rotation with that storm just north of Corning. So you folks, this is a serious situation. Still very strong rotation there, gate to gate shear. Heading again through a rural area here. It's going to be going right between Carl and the Prescott area in Adams County, southwest Iowa. That is definitely a dangerous storm.
Brad, just a couple of reports to pass along. There is some significant wind damage around the Carroll area coming into the northern side of this. Power failure throughout town being reported, some trees down on power lines. Law enforcement reported significant wind and hail at 190th and Quail in Carroll County as well. So it's not just tornado threats here we're dealing with. There's also some pockets of very strong wind tucked away in here. Right now we're dealing with 3 confirmed tornadoes. Near Exira in Audubon County, pushing to the north and east into Guthrie County. 55 miles per hour is the speed on this. So it's going to be very difficult to chase these, if you will. I'd suggest just seeking shelter here for today for us. And then 2 parallel tornadoes right now into Adams County, moving to the north and east. I'd say watch out into Adair County as this one continues northeast.
And I want to note that the one in Exira, like you said, has been confirmed. It also took a turn to the left. It kind of wrapped itself to the left. So it's kind of did a shot to the north there a little bit into Audubon County. So it's kind of close to the Hamlin area. So if you're in Hamlin, you're outside the tornado warning, but just be careful because that tornado might have just turned a little bit to the left up there. Still very strong rotation in Adams County. We've got confirmed tornadoes, 3 tornadoes in this area moving northeast. And they are heading into central Iowa, so everyone in central Iowa, be prepared. Yeah,
Mount Etna is in the general vicinity. We have mentioned Carl, Prescott need to continue to seek shelter. Nevinville on down the line. You're lined up with this strong rotation as you see here. This is one really spun up tornado, and I do believe, Brad, this one would probably still be on the ground. That is a huge debris ball. Everyone in northern Adams County, safe place now.
Yeah, that looks like a large tornado, actually, just looking at the debris ball itself. And we do have some pictures out of Brooks right now, and see what we have there. A couple pictures perhaps coming in again of the tornado. There is some rain there, rain shaft, but I do believe there is a little debris there extending down from that the funnel from the north. So it looks like it is touched down there. Is there another tornado? This one, stovepipe. Well, look at that, Chris.
That is a classic stovepipe. It's a thick one too.
Yeah, that's a strong tornado.
Brad, just briefly, there's confirmation of a second tornado west of Corning. I don't know if it means the original one faded away and is since redeveloped, but I'm just passing along the report I saw. I do think we're dealing with a significant tornado north and east of Corning, Carl. You need to be underground at this point. Put as many walls between you and the outside. Small interior room is the safest place to be without windows. If you're not in a permanent structure, say you're in a camper or a mobile home, you need to go to your designated storm shelter to stay safe. This is just a massive debris ball here. It's not necessarily saying that the tornado is that big, but to create one that is that large, you know you're dealing with a significant tornado.
Yeah, it's concerning for sure, and it's heading toward Orient, folks. So, you know, south of Greenfield, Orient, those areas, that is where that really strong circulation, that rotation that we think has a tornado on the ground still, and maybe a large tornado at that. But you definitely need to seek shelter here heading up into the Orient area. This is the time right now. Don't go out and try to look at this. This is too fast moving. It's too dangerous of a situation. There are storm spotters out there. They've been trained to chase these, and these are fast moving. Again, 55 miles per hour off to the northeast. Additionally, we have that flood threat out there, so it's just not, it's a good place to be is at home tonight, because it is just a dangerous situation all the way around with all types of severe weather possible. So we are continuing to watch this here. The coverage continues here on Local 5. We've got 3 tornado warnings. They've all been confirmed. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning, and that is for Greene County. You've got a severe storm rolling in with wind and hail possible. And of course, tornadoes are always going to be possible with the setup that we have today.
Still confirmation into Adams County. I'm seeing chaser feed video of that tornado that is still on the ground down into Northern County. So we're continuing to sift through some of these reports, and I'll tell you right now, this is a dangerous situation in northern Adams County, and there is a threat for some considerable damage there with this tornado moving through. Large debris signature. I will say that that northern one has since faded away. That's good news, yes. But there is still certainly some rotation to be had in here. So that debris ball is very potent right near Carl. You need to be in your safe place, and that northern circulation is kind of washed out a bit, Brad. Yeah. And so I'd be confident in saying that one has begun to weaken at least a little bit. Let's check up in your Exira once again and pull up the velocity signal and see what we're looking at. That's about Highway 44 just east of Hamlin right now. Yeah, this area right here, still that strong rotation in that area, and that's the one we're watching for that particular storm. Moving off to the northeast, again, that'll be going up into Guthrie County. And then, of course, this thing down here, this is the strongest we've seen. We do believe the tornado is on the ground, possibly a large tornado, but it has been producing a large debris ball here, and it's just near the Carl area. As we've been talking about, you folks in Carl, hopefully you're just where you're supposed to be, in a safe place. And again, this storm is passing off to the northeast at 50 miles per hour, heading to the Orient area and maybe south of Greenfield. So this whole area along Highway 25, if you live in this area, you should be in your shelter and stay there until the storm passes. And Brad, just outside of the tornado threat, we have still significant winds up into Carroll County as well. Wind gusts measured to 77 miles per hour near Glidden. And we've heard of extensive damage into Carroll as well. So there is some pretty extreme thunderstorm wind to be had with this. Tornado continues on the ground near Carl in northern Adams County, Orient. You need to be seeking shelter. And if there's any other communities in between, we'll go ahead and take a look and see if there is. Places like Williamson and anyone that's near the Rose Hill Cemetery, you need to be seeking shelter. Rex Sullivan Wildlife Area, seeking shelter, please. So large tornado on the ground right now moving your direction.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this is one of those long track tornadoes. This is why we had the particularly dangerous situation from the Storm Prediction Center. It's for storms like this because it has such a strong rotation and it's well grounded. So it's going to stay there for a while. It looks like it's the most developed tornado we've seen so far. Again, going near the Prescott area, heading off to the northeast toward Orient, maybe south of Greenfield, will depend on the exact track, but it's heading in that direction. Seek shelter here. This is southern Adair County here. So if you're west of Orient or southwest of Orient, you live there, you should be in your shelter. This is a very dangerous system system with a tornado on the ground.
Brad, in confirmation just on that, I mentioned a few minutes ago a second tornado. This one was south of Corning at the time I mentioned it. So there appears that there was another brief possible tornado here, and it'd probably be lining up with this circulation that is just coming out of Mercer, and with this latest scan is significantly more intense. So we'll be watching this area as well. In fact, why don't I just pop over to the CC and see if we can see anything.
There's our bigger CC signature.
Yeah.
And then down here in the Prescott area, we're looking for something to go up into the air. So once it touches the ground, it starts to pick things up, and we can see that on the radar a lot of times.
Yeah. And so there's a new circulation. I think, again, we've been kind of mentioning things going to progressively try to recycle from north to south. So we'll continue to build on that southern line, and I think that's what's trying to happen. What I'll do is bring up the storm reports here, and you can see that dot that I was mentioning actually south of Corning. And so that's the one, and there you have it, a confirmed tornado warning that is now out on that Mercer circulation.
So this is a whole different storm, folks.
Pull up the details on that new tornado warning until 4:15. We are tracking 3 confirmed tornado warnings at the moment, and you see the dot popping up near Prescott. That would be confirmed tornado on the ground there. Let's see if I can find some of the details on that. These storms are moving northeast at about 55 miles per hour. Yeah, just confirmation from the National Weather Service, 1 mile northwest of Prescott, that is in rural Adams County, that there is a confirmed tornado on the ground.
We've got a picture of the Corning tornado we can put up for you right now as we take a look at this. Again, there it is in the distance, you know, has a little tilt to it. It's pretty well formed. Elephant trunk tornado north of Corning. Now it roped out as the last report there. So thank you for that picture. Let's go down back to the radar here. And again, we're looking at, that's a debris ball there, that blue ball there, showing what the tornado has lifted up. Most likely it's sticks and it's, you know, things on the ground. Hopefully nothing of a structure, but there could be some farmsteads in the path for sure.
Sure, Brad. A long ways to go, but I did back out the radar. I want to show you that these storms are actually kind of in line towards the Des Moines Metro, and they're moving to the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. So as we look at it with these storms right here, we're about an hour away from entering the western edge of the Des Moines Metro. So something to keep in mind if you have anyone that's outside, kids playing. I know a lot were dismissed early from school today. If you know anyone outside, maybe give them a heads up that there is some significant weather on the way. Right now the threat is especially over northern Adams County, but getting into Union County now as well with that southernmost tornado warning, and then up into Adair County. And these last through various times. I would say just in the next 45 minutes, if you're in one of those tornado warned cells denoted by the pink boxes right now, your best place to be is to be seeking shelter in a small room, low level, without windows. That is the best way. And I still believe we have a significant tornado now that is passing into Adair County, and we can see it. Based on the debris signature here. So that's now starting to get into Adair County. I'm going to rock this just a little bit just to kind of get a general sense on the trajectory. And that one is kind of taking a line towards Greenfield, of course, the county seat of Adair County. Yep.
So yeah, it looks like it's heading right between Greenfield and Orient. So this is an area, Highway 25 there, but southern Adair County, seek shelter if you're not already there, but stay in your shelter is what I'm hoping to say, because you should already be there. This is a dangerous storm right here and heading in that direction right there. And did we just take a power hit?
We did just a little bit, but I believe we're up and going okay here. So yeah, taking a look at the shear tracks, and you can see the trajectory on some of these that have been happening. So yeah, I think where these are headed, you just follow the tracks, right? So they're moving to the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. There are multiple areas that we have been watching, and notice it's kind of cyclical. Each one is kind of stepping further north, and then we get a new circulation to form further to the south, and it tracks to the north and east. So we're continually doing that song and dance right now, Brad.
Yeah, and that stronger one, I was watching it. It does look like it is turning more to the north a little bit, which would take it closer to Greenfield. So boy, yeah, this is a dangerous situation coming into Adair County right now with that tornado on the ground. We know it's on the ground because of our shear or our debris detection. Still a very large ball of debris there, still very strong rotational element with that. And it is a tornado on the ground. There's almost no doubt of that. The others have been confirmed. We don't know if they stayed on the ground. So when you see that color, the purple color, the magenta, that means it's a tornado confirmed. But is it on the ground? It remains to be seen, but we're really sure about this one here coming into the Greenfield area or south of Greenfield, and it will be moving off to the northeast. You can see the times on that: 3:42 Greenfield, 3:59 Stewart, DeSoto around 4:12, and Waukee around 4:21. Clive could be by 4:30 or so.
Yeah, and definitely that is the circulation that is the most potent at this point as it gets into Adair County. There are currently 4 tornado warnings up to the north as the circulation exits Audubon County into Guthrie County. I've been just looking at that over on GR, Brad, and I'm not seeing a huge signal at this point. There is some broad rotation, so I do see the area of interest that we are watching be south of Coon Rapids just a little bit, but it is rather broad and weak at this point, especially in comparison to those southern cells. Absolutely.
Carroll County, that storm moving into Greene County has really strong winds, and they're saying the winds could get even stronger here. So this is damaging. I mean, winds of 70, 80 miles per hour can definitely do some damage. You can see that kind of bowing segment coming out of Carroll, heading into Greene County right now. So that has got some strong winds coming in that area.
As it did move through Carroll County, we did hear reports near Glidden, I believe, and Carroll of some significant wind damage. So you get into that area, and that's where that brightest green passed over Glidden right there, some damage caused by some strong winds. So that is something that definitely we want to pay close attention to in Greene County, and eventually if that holds, it'd get up into Webster County as well.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit behind.
It was 77 miles per hour there just in Carroll County for a wind gust. So the tornado remains on the ground again. It is south of Fontanelle, and it is heading off to the northeast, generally in the direction of Greenfield or maybe just south of Greenfield. We got multiple cells and multiple warnings. So, but that is the biggest of the concerns. There's also that rotation which is passing north of Greenfield as well.
Yep, and the strongest one I think is very evident and is immediately upstream of Greenfield. I want to go ahead and emphasize, if you are in Greenfield, continue to seek shelter, get to that safe place, as we do have a confirmed tornado. And by the looks of it, based on the radar picture, we have a significant one that has continued to hold this debris ball signature for the better part of 30 miles here, Brad, I would say. Yeah. And it's continuing to head your way, so there is still a large tornado on the ground.
And we have a picture of that storm earlier, I believe. It was in Corning area, but let's take a look at this picture that we have up right now. It looks like this was earlier. So this is that significant tornado. It was in the Corning area. I don't think it was in Corning proper, but you can see some of those turbines there and that tornado right there. Boy, that's a beast. That's a monster. And this is what we're dealing with. It's coming in through southern Adair County right now. It's going to be heading toward the Greenfield area within minutes right now. So it's south of Fontanelle. It's heading toward Greenfield, or at least the south side of Greenfield. I hope it misses the city of Greenfield.
Yeah, and just further confirmation, this is a bit of a dated report. About 12 minutes or so ago, east of Corning, tornado confirmed on the ground, and that would be with that southern circulation. I'm looping the debris detection for that circulation that's approaching Greenfield. Notice there is a slight leftward movement taking it to the north.
Yeah, it's kind of turning.
You are the target zone right now, and so if you are in central Adair County, anywhere within a few miles of Greenfield, especially if you're southwest or northeast of town, you need to be seeking shelter. There is an incoming confirmed tornado right now. You need to seek shelter in a basement, lowest level if you do not have a basement, and put as many walls between you and the outside to protect yourself from this tornado. Yeah. I'm going to go to the velocity signal. It's still there, very strong.
And I was looking at the rotational element, and it is turning right up into Greenfield. So right here near the Fisk area is where we have the tornado on the ground, a significant tornado on the ground heading in the direction of Greenfield right now. In Greenfield, take shelter. Please, please take shelter immediately. Stay there. This is a dangerous situation. You want to get away from the windows. You want to be, we could put those rules up if we have those ready up in the control room. But this is a dangerous situation for you folks in Greenfield. Again, go to your basement, the smallest center room. That could be, you know, a bathroom in the basement or a hallway or under the stairwell. Stay away from windows, cover yourself. Basically, you just want to get as many walls between you and the outdoors as you can, and always stay away from windows.
So this one is just a few miles away, and there's a Nottoway Park campground that's just southwest of town. If you know anyone that's out there, please call them right now. Tell them to get to their safe place. You have the recreation area just southwest of town. Anyone in Greenfield right now, this one is incoming your way in just a few moments, and we'll go back to that debris detection, and you'll see it there. There is a large circle of debris denoted by that dark blue and gray shading right here that is incoming into town. Signal of a strong tornado. I do want to touch base down to the south towards Cromwell, and while it's not showing up on the debris detection, there is a bit of circulation right over town there too. You need to be seeking shelter. This one's moving more east of north and east towards Creston. Union County has been a hotbed, it seems, so far this spring. I'm going to go ahead and rock this back and forth so you can get a sense of trajectory. You need to be seeking shelter there as well.
And Chris, that other warning's been extended, so we should go up. The one that's so dangerous looking.
One second here.
Yeah,
down to the south briefly. I'm seeing another one coming in.
Oh, yeah,
this
one, yep.
For Ringgold County, Mount Ayr as well. This is a radar indicated tornado, and the area we'd be watching is down towards Blockton. We're seeing a strong outbound wind with this cell at this point. It is radar indicated, but again, it's moving to the north and east with time. That'll put places like Mount Ayr and Diagonal in line to see this. You need to be seeking shelter at this point. This tornado warning lasts until 4:15 this afternoon. All right, let's go north like you mentioned, Brad.
Yeah, because Greenfield, it's right there on Greenfield right now. It's in that area, the Greenfield area. That's where the tornado is, and the new warning has been extended now further to the northeast, and that's going to be heading up into Stewart, to Menlo, to Dexter, and to Redfield. All of those areas going up into Guthrie County and also Dallas County. So
there is a confirmed tornado on the ground near Cromwell. Seek shelter. So again, we just talked about that. In Union County, 2 miles to the west-southwest of Cromwell. So Cromwell, seek shelter. Creston, you need to be seeking shelter. There is also confirmation of damage, structural damage near Corning as well. That is 2 miles to the north and east. Brad, I was looking at this tornado warning for Greenfield. Is this an emergency at all?
No, it didn't. They did not put an emergency on it. I'm kind of surprised, but it is a dangerous storm for sure. And that rotation remains strong. It looks to be on the ground, given the debris signature, and it is coming right into Greenfield, and it is going to be passing through Greenfield area, and then heading up into the northeast and right up into portions of Guthrie County.
In the next couple of minutes, this is going to be in town in Greenfield. Confirmation with this one that this actually took out a couple of wind turbines too down near Corning. So think about that. Those are some big structures that are in the wind on the daily basis. And so those were taken down by this tornado. 2 confirmed on the ground at this point, west of Creston and entering Greenfield. Can't emphasize this enough. If you are in central Adair County in Greenfield, you need to be in your safe places now.
So it is very dangerous, very active out there. Everybody just take it seriously. This is a very dangerous situation we have. This one in particular has been on the ground for quite a while. Coming into Greenfield right now, Highway 92, Highway 25, crossing right through this area. Of course, people live around Greenfield too, so it maybe hopefully stays out of the city, but it's around this area for sure and heading up to the northeast. Again, these are moving about 55 miles per hour, and they are heading into central Iowa within the hour, so it is coming our way. We have a number of tornado warnings out right now, and there are some severe thunderstorm warnings to the north, Chris, and those winds are damaging as well. So everybody is under the gun really in our viewing area. We've got winds to the north, we've got some flooding potential, we've got tornadoes, we've got everything going on right now.
From Highway 20 on down south to the Missouri border, we basically have a line of broken supercells and a line of severe weather embedded in them. This has been a very volatile looking setup on the day leading into this, a threat for large tornadoes, and I do believe we now have one of those currently on the ground, but also very strong damaging wind and large hail. And while we haven't seen a lot of chatter on the large hail component, that is certainly something we have been watching. This tornado is rain wrapped in Greenfield. You can actually see a peaking in the reflectivity, Brad, just over Greenfield right now. So that one is hitting town at the moment and pushing its way northeast with time. So Rosserdale, Arbor Hill, you need to be seeking shelter as this continues to move to the north and east into Adair County. Let me see here. I'm going to back this up. We've been hearing Cromwell had a tornado confirmed on the ground. I'm not seeing an indication of that on the debris detection.
Yeah.
Not to say it doesn't happen, but certainly the circulation down there is not as screaming of one as it has been up to the north. Right now, the circulation, though, would be near Creston.
Yeah, there are just numerous tornado warnings out right now. So really, this whole area is really under a tornado warning in southern Iowa as they move off to the northeast. This one, though, has been the granddaddy, really, because it's been on the ground, it's been large, and it's going right through the Greenfield area right now. And we have no reason to think it's going to stop anytime soon.
We do have some video of this tornado previously when it was upstream. Let's go ahead and take a look at that as it does enter town. This is a classic stovepipe looking tornado growing up nice and tall. This has been now long tracked on the ground since Corning. So this one, we're getting close to 30 miles at this point.
And Chris Conawan, the storm chaser there, was actually used to be a meteorologist here at Local 5. So a former meteorologist there from Local 5 out chasing right now. Chris Conawan, thank you for that video. You can see these storms again moving off to the northeast. That's the debris ball we've been watching, and it's been tracking right up into the Greenfield area. So that's where we expect the tornado is right now. And there is a little bit of a lag. You know, we have a 1-minute scan, I think, going on right now on the radar. So these are moving. It looks like it's through Greenfield now.
Yeah, this one is getting through town. Hopefully we did not sustain significant damage, but I would say that we did have a tornado go right through Greenfield.
Yeah, we need to call out there and see what's going on in Greenfield. This is a dangerous situation, but right now, everybody stay put in your shelters here, heading toward the Rosserdale area, Arbor Hill area. It's moving back into a rural area, and it's going to be moving off to the northeast again. We've got other systems out there, but this has by far been the most dangerous storm we've had.
Yeah, Brad, there is another confirmed tornado, this one now south of Creston coming in. Let me see the details on that. It just says south of Creston. It's a messy area overall when it comes to rotation, but now we do have confirmation of a confirmed tornado south of Creston. The dot isn't there yet, but that is a separate circulation from that one that we've been talking about in Cromwell.
If we show the shear product, I don't know if it would highlight some of those areas again. You definitely see that one up to the north. The other ones are lesser seen, but certainly the one up in Adair County you can see pretty clearly, but the other ones are harder to see. But this is the one that's going through Greenfield right now. That's the shear detection, basically showing where that rotation has been going. Yeah,
debris noted right over Greenfield and moving to the north and east. This one continues to race its way northeastward with time and extend northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So let's talk about who is next to see it, and extending this one up closer to the metro as we move through the next 45 minutes or so. And if it does hold, we'd be looking at an ETA of about 4:34 in Des Moines. But immediately Earlham is next popping up within the cone here, and that would be at 4:05. We have Howe, Arbor Hill, that would be a precursor to that, and the Meadow Lake Wildlife Management area pushing to the north and east with time. So we'd be looking in areas along P28 to Highway 25, Iowa Highway 25 to be seeking shelter, and on down the line we'd get closer to Earlham. That'd get us closer to I-80 and Iowa Highway 6. And of course, the Earlham Road there extends south of town. Brad?
And we mentioned earlier that some of the turbines were hit, the wind turbines, and we have video of that one that was hit and caused some damage. You can see it there off in the distance there, and it appears to have some smoke or a fire.
Right behind that first
Yeah.
turbine. You see a couple that are bent over on the ground.
There's like smoke coming out of that area as well.
Yeah, scary scene. This one coming out of Greenfield as we come back to Max 2. You see that area of circulation. It's still gate to gate, right in there, a couple miles northeast of town, Brad.
Yep, so that is the area, and it's moving off to the northeast. It did turn a little bit more to the north, so we'll see if it continues that. It may turn further to the north, but it is generally heading south of the Stewart area and in through Adair County. So we have several areas out there. Again, numerous tornado warnings, almost too numerous to like pinpoint, but this whole area basically just seek shelter, stay in your shelter. And then we've got the one on the far south that hasn't been confirmed yet, but I would expect this will probably go confirmed eventually as well.
Yeah, a little bit muddy in that circulation, probably riding the northern edge of that polygon here northwest of Mount Ayr is what I guess west of Tingley. So northwestern portion of Ringgold County at the moment. So this would be near Diagonal, where that area of rotation would be. Nothing confirmed with this one at the moment. Our confirmations currently into Union County and Adair County, and we believe Greenfield just took a tornado head on through town. We have yet to hear any reports of what may have transpired, but based on the radar signal that it was a confirmed tornado as it moved at least nearby to Greenfield, but that signal took it directly overhead.
It does look like that, and we still have a strong indication there with the debris ball past Greenfield. So we believe that it's been on the ground for quite some time now, maybe 45 minutes, Chris, on the ground?
Yeah, I would say so, because we're now moving to the territory of at least 35 miles since this one was first reported to us.
So we got Rosserdale, we got, this is the Arbor Hill area, right in there. You can see that gate-to-gate area off to the northeast.
So this is north of Highway 92, east of Highway 25, moving to the north and east with time. Northeastern Adair County, Arbor Hill, you need to be seeking shelter as this one is incoming. There's kind of two areas of circulation here, Brad. I wonder if we have two on the ground at the moment.
Yeah, I wondered if it did a split there. The strongest one still appears to be going north of Arbor Hill. And it may turn all the way up into Stewart. I'm a little concerned, but it may continue to turn to the north and try to get into the Stewart area.
We kind of wrapped around.
Yeah, and that warning is for the Stewart area. I could see it doing that. I'm looking at the rotational path, and it's been kind of rotating back up, so it may end up into Stewart as well. But anywhere in this area, boy, you just have to watch. Be careful.
Now, I'll throw something out there for you. We have two tight circulations very close, so sometimes these can have an effect on each other. We call it the Fujiwara effect, and it can shoot them odd directions because of their interactions. And I think that southern one might now start to be slowing and maybe moving more easterly, Brad. A little different to see, but two clear areas of circulation here near Arbor Hill. That's associated with a confirmed tornado. Either way, treat it as a confirmed tornado here, and perhaps looking at this, there's another debris ball here just to the north coinciding, Brad. If you take a look,
let's see here.
If you take a look at it, perhaps lining up with those two couplets. So
yeah, maybe.
Either way,
it's been a very, very dangerous afternoon here, and it is heading toward the metro here. Within the hour, we're going to see this coming into the western viewing areas. So again, get everybody indoors, get everybody ready for this as it comes our way. We still have a few minutes here before it gets into the metro proper. Again, we have flooding potential, we've got wind potential, we've got tornadic potential, and maybe a smaller hail threat as well. But these thunderstorms are not done yet. They're going to move through. If we do a wide view, Chris, I just want to show people the wide view because this is a pretty far-reaching system, and maybe you can just see the thunderstorms. Yeah, even further to the north, there's very strong winds out there. So look at all these storms coming through. We've got tornado warning in red, the tornado warning in magenta, which means confirmed. That's one that's long lasting. We've got the wind event up here in Carroll County, and that's been extended just south of Fort Dodge through Webster County and into northern Iowa. So all types of severe weather happening with this line of thunderstorms. It doesn't look like it's moving very fast, but it is. It's moving at 55 miles per hour, and that's going to bring it into the metro here within an hour, it looks like.
Brad, we do have confirmation of damage in Greenfield now, that coming in from emergency management, and it was a simple report, just 3 words, damage in Greenfield. I don't know the extent of it. Right
Send a
now,
crew out.
right now, we're also watching a circulation that's intensifying near Maxburg. So let's go ahead and take a look here. What's going on as that one enters Madison County. And yeah, certainly is there. There's another strong signal there that's coming out of the Creston area. Previously, I believe they said there was a tornado south of town near Creston too, and this does fall within that confirmed warning box.
Yes. So here we go. It is continuing to move off to the northeast. We've got many areas of circulation out there. As far as that debris signature goes, it's still there. It's still there, and it's still moving. It'll be crossing over. It's in northeastern portion of Adair County right now.
Sure, and I'll go ahead and bring up that debris detection. It is still there. In fact, I would say there's two, and that coincides with those two areas of circulation that we have. Yeah. Pull it up here for you, Brad, and you can talk about it. Yeah,
so we got two areas of rotation, this one being the primary one, and that debris ball kind of shows where the debris is. You can see how it kind of breaks apart into two areas there, and it moves off to the northeast here. We're looking at, let me put that up on my radar over here. It's harder to see there.
Sure. We're hearing we have some additional video out of Corning. We can go ahead and share that. And of course, this is now about 45 minutes ago, as it was upstream. This is the same tornado, and you can see that's a large tornado, my friends. And I would say we're getting to be a rather wide one too. It is responsible for damage around Corning. Now damage in Greenfield, taking out some wind turbines. We're hearing those are also on fire in there. But yeah, on down the line, this one, should it continue on its current trajectory, we'd be bringing it into Earlham in the next 20 minutes or so, I would say, Brad. But north of Arbor Hill, we get into pretty rural area. North of Pitzer, and yeah, we get into a fairly rural area of eastern Adair and western Madison counties. So this one moving to the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. That large debris ball is still ever present, and a strong circulation in there as well. Down into the southern southwestern portion of Madison County, there is an additional circulation. I can see it on reflectivity. That's a screaming signal too.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. That's the strongest. It's actually stronger rotation than the other one, at least on the radar, but we still have the debris ball there. No debris yet being reported down here to the south, but that is south of Maxburg, and that is an area that is likely, I mean, the way things have been going today, we were going to basically say that is going to be a tornado on the ground any minute if it isn't already. So this is another strong signature here heading toward Winterset, and of course that one would be heading off to the northeast, hopefully missing Earlham, but still there's other communities in there that could be hit. So Dexter, for example, maybe between Dexter and Earlham. Boy, this has been an active day. These thunderstorms are moving off to the northeast, and they're heading into central Iowa now, more populated areas. So we need to be on our guard and watch these very carefully as they move on in. Two strong areas of rotation. This is the one that's been a long track tornado through Greenfield, damage reported in Greenfield. Now it's heading off into the northeastern portion of Adair County. This one's coming into Madison County right now, southwestern Madison County, heading in the direction of Winterset, probably be there in maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, so heads up in Winterset, you need to be seeking shelter up through Stewart and Earlham as well. I think that one is lining up to split between town. There is an additional tornado warning down into Ringgold County. The circulation down there is not quite as well defined, but I would be looking at an area near the Tingley community and moving to the north and east with time. Previously, Brad, there was a confirmed tornado with that one near, Maxburg. Mm-hmm. So that was confirmed, and then so I think we're dealing with two confirmed tornadoes at the moment. Yeah, there's a TVS down here south of Maxburg, so yeah, it's probably definitely confirmed there. I haven't seen any debris there yet, Chris, but we'll keep an eye on that. But south of Maxburg, it does appear there is a tornado either on the ground or very soon to be on the ground in that area. Again, that is in the portion of southwestern Madison County. This one has weakened somewhat, Chris.
It has. It's still very pinpointed and strong, but it is not near as broad as it once was. Hopefully that's a good sign for us, but I would not let your guard down here, as this one is in extreme northeastern Adair County. It is responsible for some pretty significant destruction all the way since Corning through Greenfield. Reports of cars flipped down near Williamson, down into Adams County, and some wind turbines down as well, Brad. That's a new report.
Yeah, the debris signature is still pretty strong with that that original tornado. Here in Macksburg, you can obviously see where we have the strong inbound and outbound winds coming together there. It's maybe not as fine-tuned yet, but it will probably get a little bit tighter. And once it gets tighter, that's a significant sign that a tornado. The debris ball does appear the last scan to have gone down a little bit, which is a good sign on that one, but there's still some debris in that area.
All right, Brad, hearing we have report of a tornado confirmed near Macksburg, with video of that, I believe. We can go ahead and pull that up on screen. So this lines up very closely to this area near Macksburg, what we're seeing. So it says near Orient, and so actually I'm thinking that would be what went through Greenfield then.
Oh, maybe that's from earlier.
Yeah, well, I'm not quite sure. Either way, we're looking at a tornado down there in Adair or Madison County.
I guess we don't have a timestamp, but yeah, it's probably, if that's, that's probably from earlier, I would guess. But, but either way, Macksburg is definitely, you are in an area where we believe there's a tornado, so you're still in a very dangerous area there in Macksburg.
I believe we have a new warning that has been extended. Yes, it does include Union, Clark, southeastern portion of Madison County, and western Warren County. Radar indicated tornadoes, so that would be that circulation we've been watching down into Ringgold County, now extending its way further to the north and east. There it is right there, north of Tingley, I would say. Has pretty strong rush on the outbound winds of this one, but not seeing too much in an updraft. Either way, we have a signal for multiple rotations along this line as it continues to jump northeastward.
So I'm looking at that original, the original storm that went through Greenfield, and it doesn't look as good. It's still getting weaker, so that's a good sign there. We still have some debris in the air, but the ones in the south have gotten stronger. Again, Macksburg, that's a confirmed tornado, and also the new tornado warning, which is in southern Union County, and that will be moving off to the northeast as well. So these are all getting very, very close to the metro. Hopefully they continue to weaken, but that one does. But this one to the north, and that's what we've seen. Kind of the northern ones have a little bit more of a struggle. The southern ones take over, and hopefully that's happening again. But this is the one right here. The furthest north went through Greenfield right here. Now it's heading up into Stewart-Earlham area. And then we've got the next warning down here for much of Madison County. That's south of Harrison, southwestern Madison County, heading toward the Winterset area, generally speaking. So we've got all these going on, confirmed tornadoes, and just a dangerous situation to be sure out there. All the way down to the south, we've got more thunderstorms rotating, developing tornadoes here as well, and further all the way down to the border, really, more rotation. The further away from the radar, the harder it is going to be to see, but the whole state, at least the southern part of the state's in a perfect environment to produce tornadoes.
Yeah, we have a new tornado warning that came in. You probably saw that red come up on screen. Clark, you get down into Decatur County as well, pushing to extreme western Lucas County. I'm not quite seeing the area of rotation of interest in there, but another tornado warning to keep tabs on. I'd say that northern one, that long track tornado, is probably a thing of the past now based on what I've been looking at on the radar signal here. There is still some broad rotation, but even going over to the CC, that's starting to wash out now. So we're no longer sustaining that debris in the air, at least from the vantage point that we're talking about here. Don't completely let your guard down. All I'm saying is this is a good trend. I think we're seeing this long track tornado wrap up.
Yeah, the warning continues for those areas, you know, Dexter, Redfield, those areas up into Earlham as well. So just stay put. These storms are going to pass by in a couple of hours. You can get out, and maybe even an hour or so. But they are going to be heading toward the metro here. And again, these new tornado warnings are in red because they haven't been confirmed yet. The rotation is just getting started in some cases, especially the one furthest to the south. But definitely some good pockets of rotation. There's one there near Macksburg, and that is, of course, heading toward the Winterset area. That one has been confirmed earlier, and that is the one that we may want to focus on the most now, as that northern one has weakened, thankfully. But again, we've got several embedded rotations within this line of storms, and some of it's rain wrapped, some of it's very hard to see, but the radar can see it, thankfully. And you can see all the reports we've had back here of tornadoes, and going through Adams County, that was just a number of reports. Of course, some of those might be multiple, the same tornado, of course.
Correct. It doesn't necessarily mean that we had a dozen tornadoes in Adams County. It just means multiple people have spotted it, and they're giving their approximate location or where they're seeing that tornado to impact. So likely at least a couple. I do recall saying at least 3 coming in out of Adams County and then into Union County as well. It does appear that there is some damage in Greenfield. To what extent, we're not quite sure at this point. Everything has been pretty mum on that side of things, but numerous tornado warnings right now. And I want to take a look at the southern end here, see if we can find any of those circulations coming into view here. Brad, feel free to chime in with me too.
It really is the one that I'm seeing the most with is in Union County. That's where the rotation is the strongest. You go south of that and it's really hard to see. So we are seeing some rotation in this area here in Union County. And then you get further to the south, it's really hard to see that rotational element. It might be elevated rotation that we're seeing in those areas, but not seeing anything too strong yet in those areas. I think it might just be kind of try to get out ahead of the storm, because these are all developing along that line down to the south. But the strongest rotation definitely getting toward the Thayer area. It'll be coming into Thayer, and that would be along Highway 34.
I did see a report into Webster County that there was a funnel cloud reported there. I'm not seeing any huge signals on the velocity picture, but there is severe thunderstorm warning included in there. This cell has a history of producing some strong winds back towards Carroll and the Glidden area. I believe 75 plus mile per hour winds being reported out of that one. Looks like another strong storm, severe storm over the Jefferson area at the moment, moving to the east and north and east with time. So numerous cells we're going to be keeping a close track on as we continue on with coverage here. I do believe our long track tornado is now gone, though that warning is still at play. We've heard a confirmed report out of this circulation, which also appears to be weakening as it approaches Winterset. Okay. That's good news to be seen on the radar picture, but definitely, folks, take these warnings seriously. We've had numerous tornadoes reported.
And of course, Greenfield getting hit. We do have some video out of Greenfield or near that area, and this is a major, extreme, close-range tornado intercept with the wind turbines, and you can see the turbine getting hit there, the turbine, and it also was just south of Greenfield at this time. It did eventually go into the Greenfield area again. Chasers out there getting all kinds of good video. Here's the pictures, the aftermath. Unfortunately, it hit the Greenfield area. We thought it did. We hope everybody's okay. They were in their safe place, but definitely significant damage in Greenfield in Adair County just a few minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago. And we believe this tornado has lifted, but boy, that's extensive, extensive damage, Chris. This was a very significant tornado.
This is in town.
Yes, it's very disturbing to see those pictures. I'll tell you what, guys.
It's tough to see.
It's tough to see. It bothers me to see that. That storm has weakened, though. That is the good news with that. But
on that note, Brad, I'm going to jump in. Our friend Dio with Madison County Emergency Management says that there's been a tornado spotted west of Earlham, and there is a little bit of a weak signal there, and I believe this is remnants of that long track tornado still. So it's still maybe peaking on the ground.
Still spinning. It's probably rain wrapped, hard to see, but he saw that. So west of Earlham,
I would say I didn't get a directional in the report I saw, but just looking objectively at the radar, that's where it'd be passing north of I-80 right now. Yeah. And I believe that is still in the tornado warned area. So kind of a little egg on my face there saying I think things look good. This is why we heed those warnings, folks. I'm analyzing the radar here in real time, but we have our eyeballs in the field that are still saying otherwise. So it's good that these tornado warnings are still in place. Yeah.
And the truth is that, you know, we had a large tornado. Now we have probably a very small tornado, but still a tornado nonetheless. So that warning continues there around Redfield and Earlham. You stay in your shelters until the storm passes. You only got 15, 20 more minutes and you'll be in the clear. Once this line passes, we're not going to see redevelopment. So once it goes through, we're going to be in the clear, so things will improve here. It is coming into the metro right now. We don't have any warnings for Polk County yet, but we are likely to have warnings in Polk County.
I am seeing, it's a little bit of a dated report. Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm looking at the rotational products here, seeing the strongest rotation again in Union County, eastern Union County around Thayer, those areas. Heading on down into Ringgold County, there is rotation, so that's where we have new tornado warnings. We still have tornado warnings remaining in around Winterset, although that circulation has weakened quite a bit.
It's a muddled mess of circulations down into Union County, so there may be multiple areas where we're tracking tornadoes. Briefly, you saw me scan up to the north. There is a new tornado warning up there into Hamilton County, northern Boone, extreme southeastern Webster County right now. I haven't been able to analyze this one too closely. East of Pilot Mound is where we'd be looking at, I believe. I don't see anything too significant. This is a radar indicated tornado, though, at the moment.
It's not a strong rotation, but there is some rotation there, maybe north of Fraser. Between Stratford and Fraser, I do see some rotation there.
Yeah.
With the latest scan anyway, so that's kind of deeper into the warning, but it is going to be heading into Hamilton County. So you folks in Stratford, also in Stanhope and in Jewell, all these areas, you are in that new tornado warning. Again, radar indicated a tornado forming in that area.
Yeah, so you would say about halfway between those areas, put it right here, move it to the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. Here's the estimated times of arrival. And way down the line, we have Iowa Falls by 4:50, but Stanhope by 4:15, 4:23 in Jewell, 4:44 in Alden. Anyone within that tornado warning box needs to be seeking shelter. It's kind of hard to see with all the returns on radar, but from Webster City down to about Boone to Jewell and Boxholm, anywhere in between, including Stanhope, needs to be seeking shelter.
Yeah.
Still,
and the Stratford Fire Department did see some rotation there.
Okay, so that's why the warning came out on that. Hopefully everything stays up in the clouds. They are sounding the sirens for that as well, but it's rain wrapped and it's going to be difficult to see out of this. There is some hail in here too, just hearing a report out of Winterset that there's quarter-sized hail coming in, but I think our biggest concern at the moment is going to continue to be tornadoes.
Absolutely. And we have the rotation and the tornado warnings continuing here. The ones originally, those are that long track tornado originally has kind of weakened quite a bit, which is good news. The southern ones are still maintaining some rotation with those. And the northern one that we have, the new warning there, south of Stratford, there is definitely some rotation. We've had some reports of rotation in that area. Sirens are going off. So if you hear the sirens, it can be two different things. Sirens are no longer just tornado sirens. Sirens are severe weather sirens. So if winds in excess of 70 miles per hour are possible, they will sound the sirens in most cities. So the siren just means it's bad weather coming in, dangerous weather coming in. So it doesn't always mean it's a tornado warning, but it can mean a tornado warning. And there's that rotation we've been watching, still trying to maybe spin up. It's the remnants of what we had earlier, the long track tornado. It worked its way up into this area, and it looks like it's probably rain wrapped in a way.
Yeah, at this point, and it looks to be fairly small, but this is what's left over of that circulation that we've been tracking. So if you are there into Dallas County, and I believe this is still right on the edge of that tornado warning, you need to be seeking shelter there north of Earlham.
Yeah, that tornado warning, how late does that go? That one in Dallas County?
It can't be for much longer. I think it's 4:15.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a good time on that one, so it'll expire. So we still have tornado warnings in place right now. The confirmations have gone down. At this point, we were getting confirmations right and left. Looking at our debris data, we're not seeing anything, at least I'm not right now. Southern Iowa, nothing.
No, and the shear detection that you're just getting a look at on screen is a far cry from what it was, and we hope we continue that trend. There is a little bit of a hook going on east of Jefferson, so there are definitely some areas to watch here. Near Stratford, there's another little hook, and that corresponds with that tornado warning.
Yes, so these hooks basically kind of tell us what the winds might be doing inside that thunderstorm. Also, of course, Doppler radar does that exact same thing. So there's a tornado warning for Jewell and Stratford, Webster City. We've been talking about that, and it's an area that's rotating. They did show rotation there, so the warning was issued. We've got southern Iowa with rotation. The one that's coming into central Iowa and Dallas County, that has weakened. That warning goes out until 4:15. We'll see if it's reissued at this point. I don't think it will, but we'll see what happens with that. But we still have some pretty good rotation down to the south here.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
And it's not tight, it's more broad rotation. I'm not seeing there's some near Thayer, north of Murray, there's some rotation.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look.
But these areas, again, it's nothing that jumps out at you like that did in the Greenfield area. That was a significant long track tornado. We don't have anything out there right now that looks like that. So, but there's still some dangerous pockets out there with potential tornadoes that could develop here. And again, sometimes the shear product might work here, but
yeah, let's pull it up.
It'll be a little bit delayed, but see if it shows any
So
pockets.
this is current, some very small little pockets.
Yep. And I know the threshold on this product isn't quite as low as the one I use, but you can see the path here. This is our long track tornado that came up into the Greenfield area. And that is the one that caused the damage there.
Yeah, so at least 3 distinct tornado tracks. I believe there's been multiple.
Oh, yeah.
But perhaps some shorter lived. At least 3 distinct tracks here we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. So this one down here to the south has been warned, but it never really got its act together. You can see all that, basically the rotational element still there, but it never really kind of spun up into, kind of congealed into a tight rotation. And that's good news. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's probably going to be tornado possible too, Chris?
Well, let's take a look. I haven't gotten a chance to look at it.
I think that's the color that it popped up.
Sure.
Yes. So it'll be a severe thunderstorm warning for Polk County, also Story County, Warren County, and this will be tornado possible. So it's basically, hey, here comes severe weather. Tornadoes could develop. And we are now under the gun here for the next hour or so as these storms roll through the metro. So you've had fair warning here, so hopefully everybody's in your safe place as they come on in. Wind is a threat, tornadoes are a threat, and there could be some quarter-size hail.
Okay, yeah, and we're watching those little spin-ups all along this line as they come through. So that's where we're going to be watching with that severe thunderstorm warning as it extends over the Des Moines metro. There are a bunch of small-scale little circulations here, a couple of confirmed tornado warnings up to the north as those move into Dallas and out of Madison County. Madison County. But there's also some small pinpointed circulations down. Yeah, north of Murray, I think, is probably the most exciting, if you will, as it appears. But even still, as we get further into southern Iowa, it becomes harder to see those smaller circulations because it's just so high up in the sky. So we're carrying a slew of tornado warnings. If you are in either of these, whether it's pink or red, especially in that thunderstorm and to the east, you need to be seeking shelter. So often we get these trimmed up on the backside. There are several on the western edges of these warnings that are no longer in the wrist. I think it's just so busy at the moment that we're not getting these trimmed up at the moment. There's
just too much going on. Basically, we just have severe weather everywhere, and we just have to ride out the storm, basically, as these move through. Again, we're going to see these warnings hopefully expire here in a few minutes. 4:15, those expire. Here's a live look at our camera looking to the west, I hope that is.
Yeah.
We also, at some point, may want to show, if people haven't seen it, the video or the pictures from Greenfield again. I know it's not a pretty picture, but just to show, you know, we're into the news gathering business, but it did hit Greenfield pretty hard. Again, there's the tornado watch. It's extending all the way through eastern Iowa into the evening. Once this storm goes by, once this line goes by, we're done. So we can probably clear western Iowa out of it. But let's go back to those pictures again. I want to show those to you here. There's some damage. These are some of the wind turbines that were hit.
We're hearing there's a fire corresponding with those too.
Yeah, it looked like there was on that video we had too. So yeah, it just took those out. There's the tornado, the long track tornado, damaging tornado headed right into Greenfield. This was when it was south of Greenfield, but it came right up in from the south and came into the Greenfield area and did some damage in Greenfield. So and there's the picture.
That's tough to see. So that is the community of Greenfield, smack dab in the middle of Adair County. And it looks like that's some pretty extreme damage inflicted. Go ahead and leave this up on screen so we can get a good look on it, what's going on.
Because you can see by the trees how the big trees were ripped, and you can see the house damage. It's probably a very significant tornado.
It is a significant, and you see those trees on the left-hand side. There's no more branches on them, so to rip off, you know, those thick branches and it's tough to tell if it's debarked, but they're awfully smooth. This is catastrophic damage into Greenfield, and no doubt we have a crew on the way, and we'll bring you updates as we get on.
And I know the emergency people are heading into that area from all communities. Everybody, you know, basically comes together and helps each other out. So a lot of people are going to be going to Greenfield to help those folks out because that is a devastating situation. But we continue to watch for bad weather here, and it's certainly not as bad as that, but we still have some rotation out there. No confirmed tornadoes at this time. We're still watching for that, looking for debris signatures out there, and I'm not seeing any at the moment, Chris.
No, and any circulation we're looking at right now is rather pinpointed. I'm just trying to find some more info on Greenfield and just seeing some more pictures and videos. The damage there is extensive and significant into central Adair County. The threats of tornadoes extending, though, especially into southern Iowa. There are a slew of counties currently intertwined in there. Northern Decatur, and that would also be Ringgold County, Union into Clark, and then Madison into Warren counties. There's some very small-scale circulations in there that we're going to be tracking. None of which right now are really screaming at me ultra hard that are saying I have a tornado hiding in this line at this point, but there are a couple of areas we would watch. I think this section of the storm is definitely turbulent and holds some very strong winds in there. Kind of seeing that rear inflow notch coming in out of Madison County too, pushing east, so that would be a signal of stronger wind too.
And there is some rotation south of St. Charles, so yeah, it's still a dangerous area here, but nothing says tornado on the ground. We don't see debris. You can see those winds punching in here south of St. Charles into New Virginia. So wind is also a threat. Even if you're in a tornado warning, you could still have some strong winds and damaging winds at that. And we still have pretty powerful thunderstorms here coming into the metro. Again, all of Des Moines, all the metro is under a severe thunderstorm warning, with the caveat that a tornado is possible. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. We can zoom in, you know, western side of the metro now getting some heavy rain coming through Waukee right now. That's coming into Dallas Center. Not seeing any strong rotational elements.
Not strong, but there is just a little bit there. So those are the kind of things we're watching at this point, since we don't have an absolute screaming signal like what we did just 30 minutes ago or so.
I was going to say, sorry, Chris, let's go ahead and show the loop because it is moving into the metro. A lot of people are wondering what is coming their way. Maybe just
clear it out.
Yeah, clear it out and zoom out to the metro. There we go. And we just show what's coming into our area here. We are going to see there's that tornado warning that was confirmed earlier. That will expire soon. We've got a tornado warning to the northwest of Ames up here. Again, no confirmation there. We've got a couple of tornado warnings to the south, but nothing is standing out with a strong rotational element at this time.
Yeah, and it's it's just a very active period. We're trying to get crews out at the same time. We have those thunderstorms rolling in the metro. It's difficult. Let's not forget there's another tornado warning up to the north. This would be now into Hamilton County. You can see that embedded supercell in there, the kink, the kidney bean, if you will, in the southwestern part of the community.
Kind of a broad area of rotation there to the west of Jewel, and again, it's not jumping out. We don't have any confirmation there. It's kind of a broad area all along that line. We're seeing some rotational elements, but that can happen. You know, sometimes we get those little kinks along the line that do develop tornadoes, and we had even a tornado warning this morning in western Iowa from a similar situation. So we got the tornado warnings down here to the south. We got a new tornado warning. This is for Polk County. This has just been issued here, Chris. Let's go down and see what we got.
Yeah, until 5 o'clock, this tornado warning does include eastern Dallas County, northwestern Polk County. So you'll probably be hearing the siren sound in Waukee, Grimes up through Ankeny, Granger, and Dallas Center. I believe this is going to be the circulation held over from Corning to Greenfield.
It might be.
I'm going to open up the scope here on it, and there's a...
I'm not seeing much, but there is something there. It's just
northeast of Waukee.
Yeah, and you know, really between Adel, Dallas Center, and Waukee.
Yeah.
That area, it's a little bit of rotation in that area. So this is what we're going to watch, this area right here, and moving off to the northeast. So it's heading into Grimes area, Polk City, and those areas all under a tornado warning. It just basically, it's an upgrade from what we had before. We had a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. Now it's a little bit more indicative of what a tornado would look like in that radar signature there. So into Waukee at 422, Johnston at 434, Ankeny about 440, and Huxley about 448, and Nevada at 5 o'clock.
Sure. Just looking at some of the reports, Brad, Dallas County amateur radio operator is reporting debris falling from the sky about Highway 141 in O Avenue.
Could have been left over from...
It could be. And that was my initial thought. I don't see anything strong enough right now to take it that far north, but I would believe that's what we're dealing with at the moment is some of the debris falling from the sky over Dallas County at the moment.
I'm going to watch my debris tracker on this off radar.
Okay.
See if it goes up there, but yes, that would put it in that area for sure.
So the tightening, the new warning for Dallas and Polk County is for the tightening to the east of Adel, between Adel and Waukee. And we just showed that to you. We'll continue to monitor. It's very close to the radar, so you can see those small-scale circulations a little bit better. Back down to the south we go, say towards Madison, Clark County, Warren County. I'll pull the scope out, and it's more of the same. We're watching some of those small circulations at this point, and that's just the scenario we're in right now, is we're trying to pinpoint those small areas. We don't have that large circulation that we once did. No. I still think the southern end is going to continue to be the most active at this point, though.
Yeah, we just have to be cautious at this point. We have the tornado warning here, but of course we're not zoomed in. We're not like focused, like laser focused on it, because there's really nothing to focus on. It's just, again, seek shelter. You should be in your shelters already, but this just says be in your shelter even more, right? Because we have that possibility. And here's the shear detection showing some of that shear that we saw earlier, and this is the loop, I guess, we have going. Yeah. But we did have some shear detected probably just around the Adel area or east of Adel, and that is moving off to the northeast. Again, very hard to discern here, but this area right here, it's not jumping off the screen at all.
No, it's very localized. It is tight, but it's also not a screaming signal as well, but that's the area we would be watching. Going down the velocity scale, I-35 down through Madison County, Warren County, and into Clark County, there's just some of these small areas that we we'd continue to watch north of Murray. It appears perhaps around the New Virginia area as well. And it's these small ones at this point. So we have seen extensive damage out of southwestern Iowa. I'll go ahead and pull up some of those storm reports so we can get a look at what we've seen. And this is over the last 12 hours, so apologies that this does kind of bleed over, what we've seen in the morning time frame. I just moved it to 6, even though the banner says 12. These are over the last 6 hours. Numerous tornado reports from the south and west. There have been some hail reports too. Winter set 1 inch in diameter. Minburn, this was nickel-sized hail, and I believe we had some more, that's half-inch sized hail out of Creston. But some damage across Union and, Adams and Adair County from tornadoes, and not possible tornadoes. They were definitely tornadoes nonetheless. So we'll go back to the...
I think, Chris, the strongest rotation I'm looking at is between Stanhope and Jewell up there in Hamilton County. So south of Webster City, and Stanhope and Jewell, there is some rotation. So that's where the strongest rotation. It is in a tornado warning, right in the middle of a tornado warning. So we'll keep an eye on this area. We haven't seen much develop up here to the north, but when I look at the radar, that has the strongest rotation right now, and that would be impacting the Jewell area, perhaps. Moving off to the northeast.
Stanhope, Kamrar, Jewell need to be seeking shelter at this point. That is definitely the best area of circulation that we have seen out of this one. It's moving to the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. So that means these are racing here. Brad, can you go over some of the cities for me?
Yeah, let's go over some of the cities. So we've got Stanhope at 426, Williams at 446, Alden at 455, Reeve at 507, Hampton about 513. So again, thunderstorms moving very quickly. They are moving into the metro right now. We're getting some rain here through Ames, Huxley, on down to the south. Let's go ahead and pan on down here. We'll just see the thunderstorms coming into Ankeny. You are in that tornado warning right now. We're not seeing anything right now, but just remain in your shelter. It's always the best place to be during a storm, especially with this environment that we have right now. But the worst is yet to come for the metro. We got some heavy thunderstorms coming through here. And down to the south, St. Charles, heavy rain falling there as well with a tornado warning and some pockets of rotation embedded within the storm, it looks like.
Yeah, that's why we're carrying those tornado warnings right now, but also some localized wind and some hail threats in there too. Just hearing reports from emergency management in Story County that all communities have sirens sounding at the moment, and this was likely going to be because of that tornado warning that is incoming into the county. So likely several communities where they are sounding at this point. And if you're in any of those tornado warnings, it's paramount that you seek shelter. And we're watching these circulations. There's no smoking gun at the moment, but inside of these, we're finding those circulations, and they can drop a tornado at a moment's notice. So that extends all the way down I-35 at the moment as we go down into now Clark County. So if you're in Ringgold or Decatur County, threats out of your area, even Eastern Union County, the last little bit is going to be pulling through. Not huge here, but there's some stronger inbound winds that coincide with that little tail that's coming out of the southern end of the cell. Perhaps just northeast of Osceola. There's a little bit of some of that rotation in there. These are the spots that we're going to be tracking as we continue to go forward. Let's jump back up north, shall we, and take a look at what's going on up near Jewell.
We've had a lot of wind up in this area. At the very least, there's going to be a lot of wind in these thunderstorms going through Webster City. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. We still have that area west of Jewell where we have some rotation there, so that tornado warning continues. And we don't have any confirmed tornado warnings out right now. That one is going to expire here in a few minutes down to the west of the metro. So this is the area we're watching. Again, kind of a broad rotation in that area. It's not pinpointed in any way, but still it could tighten up and it could form something. So we'll keep an eye on that as it moves.
And unfortunately, we're kind of in the stage where we're getting about 5 minutes sampling because we have thunderstorms close to the radar site. It just takes longer to send the radar on its regular cycles to move through. But that circulation is southwest of Jewell. Jewell, you should be seeking shelter. That circulation is heading your way.
We've got images again, some new images, I believe, coming out of Greenfield again. We need all the help we can get, Greenfield, Iowa. So there you go, folks. Prayers and everything else we can give them. I guess everybody will be heading out there and trying to help Greenfield right now because they were hit very, very hard. You can see this this post on X right now that's just devastating.
Yeah, and reading some of these reports coming in along with this, beams impaled through roofs, trees gone, trees snapped in half. This is what I'm reading in some of these reports that are coming in, and you're looking at the extensive damage coming in. It's devastating down there. We have a track basically from west of Corning all the way up through Greenfield, and the tornado warning continues into the northern part of the metro right now. That's that same circulation, that same parent thunderstorm.
Yeah, it is, and that's expiring here at 4:30. But we have the other tornado warnings that are in effect right now are the red shade, which means nothing's been confirmed at this point. We haven't seen any strong circulation or anything on our shear detection and debris detection rather. So we have severe thunderstorms going through all of Iowa right now, from north to south, all the way from the Minnesota border to the Missouri border. And these are strong thunderstorms. We're getting some heavy rain and wind right now here in West Des Moines at the studio. I can hear it coming down. And we've got numerous tornado warnings again. This one up to the north here in Hamilton County. We got one out here in the northwestern portion of Polk County. Again, not seeing anything with that right now. There was some debris reported falling from the sky. We might possibly think that is actually coming down from the previous tornado. And then a new tornado warning has just been issued here, and that's going to extend up into the east side of Des Moines, it looks like, Chris.
Yeah, and so this entire line is currently warned, whether it's tornado or severe thunderstorm warning. These are embedded supercells, kind of congealed into a line, and they have their own interactions together. And usually we're looking at, when we're talking supercells, they're individual, and we start looking at them as standing alone and being in a better position maybe. That's not the case right now. They're lined up north to south, basically right along the I-35 corridor at the moment, and extending its way all the way from Mason City down through Iowa Falls to the Ames and Boone area, Des Moines, southward to Osceola, and eventually into Lamoni. There's even more storms that extend further to the south through Kansas City and beyond. Our circulations were definitely more potent earlier into the afternoon. There are still some turbulent areas that we're going to be watching, and perhaps some of those circulations, I don't have any popping out on the screen right now that are screaming at me saying huge tornado risk. Until you get up into Hamilton County, there's a couple of better prime suspects.
I do see a little something between Martinsdale and Spring Hill, which is south of Des Moines, south of Norwalk.
Okay, I see it.
There's a little something there, and if I go to higher scans, it's still there. So there is some rotation there.
Sure, we'll watch that one as it moves to the north and east. Again, these things are booking, and this is going to be in the heart of the rain too. So this is a newly issued tornado warning. In fact, it just came in. Let me get back to it. And it's for that circulation.
Yes, it is. And that is going into the south side of Des Moines and also into Altoona. So east side of Des Moines, south side of Des Moines, up toward Altoona. And that might be the best rotation we have out there, the most dangerous.
Yeah. And we might get some confirmations out of this. Let me analyze this here. If you are in Martinsdale,
that might be confirmation.
I would say it is right over Martinsdale too. Perhaps taking a tornado there. If you're in Pearl, Spring Hill, Norwalk, up towards the Scotch Ridge area, headed towards Carlisle. That's a confirmed tornado near Spring Hill. This is south and east of Norwalk by about 4 miles, moving to the north and east. So south and southeast side of the metro right now, there is a confirmed tornado moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. I would also say, Norwalk, please seek your shelter. Do so in a calm manner and keep your composure. Carlisle included on that. The Scotch Ridge is in there. The turnoff just ahead to Carlisle is there. Altoona. at 4:52. Colfax, should this one hold, at 5:02. But we'll see this warning go pink here, I think, Brad.
Yeah, I do too. There we go. Good job, Chris. We were watching that. You can see it on the debris. The debris is almost the first thing we know that it does confirm the tornado. So there we go. It's basically south of Norwalk, heading up into this area. Carlisle, east side of Des Moines, south side of Des Moines, and to Altoona as well. You should have already been in your shelter, but now we have a confirmed tornado here south of Norwalk, heading off to the northeast at 55 miles per hour or so. And there it is, that little area right here off to the southeast of Norwalk.
So this one developed rapidly, pretty much right over Martinsdale. So we'll have to work to see if we had any damage coming in from there. But you can see it was a broad rotation initially, and then it tightened up just in this last scan here, significantly tightening. Anytime you see those brighter colors right next to each other, and we're looking at that right north of Spring Hill, that's very indicative that we have some strengthening with the system, and we can see that debris balls. Not those deep dark blues that we often talk about, but it does coincide with that circulation. So there is some debris being lofted because of a tornado into the northern part of Warren County at the moment.
Yeah, so if you are in the south side of Des Moines, you're in Pleasant Hill or the basically the Carlisle area, seek shelter immediately. Again, you should have already been in that area, but this is the way it's heading, right up into the southeastern portion of Polk County and eastern Polk County as well. Again, tornado confirmed there because of the debris that we're seeing. It started in Martinsdale, quickly forming, going up south of Norwalk. We've got other tornado warnings down here. Again, we haven't seen this kind of signature that we've seen with this one. So we're still looking at those. We've got a tornado warning on the north side of the metro, but again, we're not seeing that signature yet of anything developing. This one is definitely a tornado confirmed on the south side.
We're getting very close to the radar picture in Johnston, perhaps a little bit of a couplet there, nice tied up on the velocity picture. So that's what we're watching, but nothing immediately on the debris detection that is saying we have something significant on the ground, unlike into northern Warren County. So anywhere from Pleasant Hill to Carlisle right now, you need to be seeking shelter. And I'm just going to go ahead and loop this slowly here, and so you get a sense on where this tornado is going. And again, we're getting about 5-minute samples at the moment with our radar picture, but this one developed over Martinsdale and is now streaming to the north and east. So about this trajectory.
Yeah, three pictures taking it close to Carlisle, Pleasant Hill area, basically all populated in this area. It's not like one city stops and one ends or begins. So this is an area that you need to stay in your shelters right now. This is a serious situation. Tornado confirmed on the ground near Spring Hill, heading up toward Pleasant Hill and Carlisle right now, off to the northeast. Again, confirmed tornado with this particular cell. We still have thunderstorms coming through the rest of the metro. Could be some wind coming into Ankeny and Grimes, it looks like, but nothing as far as tornadoes that we see right now.
Yeah, very low level here as we're sampling it, so perhaps some 60-mile-per-hour winds in around the Johnston, Ankeny area, northern part of Des Moines, as this one's moving through West Des Moines at the moment too. Brad, we have a wind gust of 47 here at the studio, so these are some stronger winds, and you do see, based on the coloring, it gets stronger as you move into the northern part of the metro, so perhaps some 60-mile-per-hour winds in there too. Of course, that tornadic circulation in northern Warren County. If you did look closely on the debris detection, it is starting to wash out a little bit, and that's usually a good sign too, but it is moving towards Carlisle. Safe places, please. Lowest level in interior room, preferably a basement if you can. No windows, and if you can, get down and cover yourself, cover your head if you can. Get under something. The more objects and walls you put between you and the storm, the better it is in the overall scenario. So looking at some of the reports here, and it looks like that debris signature is dissipating in northern Warren County. That is good. It does look like that there is some damage up near Webster City. So not necessarily tornado damage, but we have been watching severe thunderstorms all along this line. So Webster City in here, just coming out of that severe thunderstorm warning. While we're up here, may as well check into that tornado warning near Jewel. It would be to the north and west of Jewel, though that doesn't look quite as significant any longer. I bet you this one will go by the wayside.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that'll have to be reissued at this time. So again, watching for signatures. We have again gotten weaker in the one heading into Carlisle. That warning is continuing. Confirmed tornado, Martinsdale, Spring Hill area confirmed earlier. And there's still a rotation heading toward Carlisle area, or maybe just to the west of Carlisle. And again, as Chris was saying, we were looking at the debris detection fading a little bit. So that usually tells us it lifted from the ground, hopefully.
Yeah, and the velocity signal for some reason, Brad, is lagging behind significantly. As we look at the reflectivity, the area of concern would be right into Carlisle at the moment, continuing to move to the north and east. So Pleasant Hill and Altoona, and eventually, should this threat continue to hold, we'd be closer to in Colfax as this one races northeast with time. We'll go back to the debris detection, and it's all but gone. It was a brief debris ball, but it was there. So hopefully this one is continuing to dissipate. You can see it there, southeast of Norwalk, headed towards Carlisle, and it's no longer there. So hopefully we have a new velocity scan here. We do not, and I'm just not seeing the huge, the update that we need. Here it comes. It's going to be coming around in this cycle.
It did quickly develop, and it kind of quickly dissipated, which is great. But we're watching. It's hard to see with this, and I've been losing a different product over here, actually. But you can definitely see that rotational element has kind of weakened quite a bit, not tight together. The reds and greens are not like right next to each other in that area, kind of a broader area now.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's the prime location, though. We look for these notches, the kidney beans, if you will, to come out of the storm. So this is the air that's rushing out of the thunderstorm. This is the air that's running into it. And it's that spin with the parent thunderstorm that helps propel these tornadic threats to go to the ground.
Apparently, we do have a picture from Martinsdale from earlier, just a few minutes ago. Let's see if we can see a possible tornado funnel. So this is it, Chris. It could be on the ground there.
I would say it is. I think I see some debris being stirred up at the bottom there.
That's a still pick, obviously, because the clouds aren't moving. I was going to say there's nothing moving there. It's a still pick.
Okay, Brad, we have a tornado debris signature near Saylorville Lake. Let's go take a look at it. Saying the National Weather Service is saying that. So this is very tight in to the radar, and it's tough to see. They're saying they have one.
City or no?
I'm not quite seeing it here, but the National Weather Service is saying there's a TDS there. So in Ames, also 50 to 60 mile per hour winds being reported by ISUPD. And so yeah, we're continuing on with this tornado warning in the northern part of the metro.
It continues there. So you folks in Ankeny, Polk City, Elkhart, Huxley, you are in the tornado warning, and apparently there is something going on there. Hard to see because it is so pretty much right on top of the radar.
North side of Ankeny, please be in your safe place. East of Polk City, Alleman included, Elkhart up through Huxley. I have highlighted the area that would hold the circulation. Keep in perspective that place, and that's it, Brad. This is what they're looking at right here.
It looks like going north of Ankeny.
Yeah, so pushing to the north and east with time. Let's go ahead and track and tell you who's next in line to see this one from that debris signature moving to the north and east. I'm going to have to redraw.
Really close to Alleman. Alleman, Elkhart, those areas, definitely very, very close to you.
Yeah, so moving to the north and east at about 55 miles per hour. You see the estimated times of arrival in Elkhart 4:49, 4:59 in Maxwell, and down the line Nevada, likely tracking just a little bit south of town, 5:04. So we'd get you to the 5 o'clock hour. So that debris signature would likely be over Alleman right now. We're getting a little bit of an update coming through. It's awfully muddled, but National Weather Service is saying they had one.
And I can definitely see the debris signature when I look at higher levels, like a 2.9 scan or a 1.8 scan. You can definitely see it clearly. and it is on the north side of Ankeny, south of Alleman there.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah, so it's clearly, and it's probably going to split between Alleman and Elkhart. It looks like that's the path that it's on right now.
Sure, Brad, I'm actually going to raise the radar
raise that, we can see that
raise
better.
the
So
elevation.
he's gonna,
so there it is.
Yeah, so this is right here, and it's going to be crossing 69 here any minute right now, just south of Alleman, again, on the north side of Ankeny. And there are definitely a lot of communities there. You got Otter Creek Golf Course, so a lot of houses in this area. Take shelter immediately in this area, and we can maybe zoom in at street level there, at least in that area, and try to pinpoint this. But so there's the Alleman area, and down to the south here, trying to see some of those roads. It's hard to read.
You have Northeast 126th Avenue coming off Highway 69, and then near Alleman, that is going to be Northwest 142nd Avenue near US 69. That's about the approximate location of where this tornado currently is, and moving to the north and east. Yeah,
and it's probably not far from that Northwest 30. It's probably just north of Northwest 36th Street in Ankeny as well. So it's just on the north side of Ankeny, really, because Ankeny does extend quite a ways to the north now. So you folks, again, seek shelter, stay in your shelters in this area, north side of Ankeny, south of Alleman, Elkhart, these areas. It'll be crossing the interstate, actually, very shortly.
Momentarily, yep.
So very, very dangerous situation. Again, a quick spin up there. Hard to see. It was right over the radar here. But that rotation has been there for a while, and it finally got its act together.
So there's other areas that we've been watching near Carlisle and extending a little south. There's some shearing action along the line, and that's why we call it shear detection. And sometimes that shearing effect can spin up tornadoes. So we have it pinpointed north of Ankeny with that confirmed tornado. Previously confirmed tornado warning coming in out of Martinsdale, and moving up towards Carlisle with where that threat currently is there. But we're seeing debris being lofted up into the air on radar in both locations, or we have over the last 20 minutes or so. There are additional tornado warnings further to the south that have just expired. Looking at these two tornado warnings over the metro right now as being the biggest troublemakers, but there's also probably some 60-mile-per-hour wind in here. We have a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning. This is broad brushed out ahead of this whole line exiting the East Metro. This is radar indicated, but it is estimating that we could see some 60-mile-per-hour winds out of that. Why don't I go ahead and pull up some of the winds? Since we are kind of in a populous area with lots of weather stations close by, those wind gusts coming up on screen. At Des Moines International, 45 miles per hour. Looks like Ankeny Regional, 24 miles per hour, 48 up in Ames. And you can see that debris ball right there on reflectivity, Brad.
Yeah,
you don't even need to go to CC.
Yeah, it is clearly seen there, and I was over there looking at some other stuff before, but these is a serious situation, so definitely take it seriously. Right there you go, and it's moving off to the north. So again, crossing the county line here pretty soon, coming into Story County, and getting close to 210, Maxwell, this area, in the path of this storm.
Velocity picture is extremely old here, but using the CC, this one is at the Story and Polk County line, moving north and east. These are racing, folks. Maxwell, you need to get to your safe place. If you're east of I-35 in the Huxley area, obviously Huxley is on the west side of the interstate, but if you're in this area, Cambridge is also going to be there. Robinson, Whitaker Acres, you need to be seeking shelter for this tornado. It is confirmed right now, racing north and east.
It is, and it is a debris ball scene. We can see that. It is in the, basically just north of Elkhart right now, and it's south of Cambridge. Going to be crossing over the line here, the county line, and heading into Boone County, Story County very, very soon. So seek shelter in these areas. A new warning should be issued if it hasn't already, Chris. I'm not sure.
They're saying there's one going to be issued downstream. Also, I want to mention down near Carlisle, it does appear it's strengthening rotation. It is rather broad at the moment, but this one may be trying to recycle too. And I'll mention here, Brad, both of these storms are kind of in better positioning to sustain themselves. They both have clear, unobstructed ways of getting their inflow at the moment. So that's probably in tandem with the strengthening that we're seeing. Confirmed tornado crossing into Story County east of Huxley, west of Maxwell, and then I still think there's one going to be possible kind of in the eastern side of the Pleasant Hill area, moving north and east with time.
So our debris ball is getting pretty significant there, and again, this is north of Elkhart, passing close to Alleman already, and we've got a TVS, which is a tornadic vortex signature, fairly strong.
Wow,
there as well.
Look at the velocity signal on that.
Yeah,
that is
so this is what we're talking about. I was there looking, but this is south of Cambridge, folks. Going to be crossing Highway 210 here, and again, this is an area it's very, very dangerous. You want to be in your shelter, lowest level of your home. In the basement, obviously, is the best place. If you live between Cambridge and Maxwell, it looks like that's probably where it's going to track, right along 210. So people live along that highway. I know they do for a fact. So be careful in that area, seek shelter, and it's moving off to the northeast. I assume they're still moving northeast at 55, Chris?
Yeah, I would say so. Brad, just confirmation in via email from public officials in Polk City that there is some damage, and that would line up with this tornadic circulation that is coming to the north and east into Story County. So the velocity signal is very strong at this vantage point. I will say it's now north of 210. We just haven't gotten the latest data as this one is continuing to push north and east. Getting new data in, I think at the moment it would be east of Cambridge. It's not quite fully loaded in, but I think we're going to be looking right here where I dropped the arrow of where that tornado currently is. North of Highway 210, east of Cambridge, moving to the north and east with time. Brad?
Yeah, and I don't see any towns in the immediate path of this like we did before, but it is going to be coming close to Cambridge, south side, east side of Cambridge, and then west of Maxwell is where we're going to expect that tornado to track right now. We do believe it is on the ground. We have the debris signature, the debris ball that we can see, and that's a clear indication with the velocity there, kind of making its own little circle there. And again, this is a little bit older. It's probably around Highway 210 by now, I believe.
It's beyond. Here's the CC data. If you are in Robison, Whitaker Acres, seek shelter. I do believe this takes a trajectory that is to the south of Nevada, but I would prefer Nevada to be in a safe place right now. Maxwell as well, Colo, Fernald, and if you live north of Collins as well.
Yeah, because it may do what the other one did. It may turn a little bit to that left and to the north. So let's maybe do the debris signature and we'll put a loop on it or something. But it could be turning a little bit. But yeah, definitely want to watch out in Nevada because it could be coming your way, it looks like.
Yeah, especially if it recycles back into the storm, that would give it more of a northward pull and put places like Nevada at risk. So that's why we give kind of a wider view on these warnings when they're issued, to give us a little bit of grace, kind of a buffer zone, if you will. So anyone inside these pink shading, you need to be seeking shelter.
So Colo, Nevada, definitely seek shelter now. Dangerous situation. Tornado on the ground. We have a debris signature down there. This one, we haven't seen the debris for a while, Chris. We could take another look at that to make sure it's still not flaring up.
I think we're still behaving, but the rotation has grown a little bit, a bit stronger as this one passes east of Altoona. I believe this is old data as well. It needs a good refresh, but at the data we're looking at here, south and east of Pleasant Hill, that's where that tornado threat would be, and then of course up into now Story County. We just need a good refresh of the data.
Yeah, so we have tornado on the ground, everyone, and this is not far from Cambridge. It would be off to the northeast of Cambridge right now. Tornado on the ground, heading into, south of Nevada in Story County again, heading toward Colo. Possibly it could affect Nevada. The Collins area probably will stay north and west of Maxwell, but Colo, Nevada, State Center.
The Indian Creek Golf Club appears to be in line. So if you're familiar with rural Story County, those are the areas we're talking about. East of I-35 right now, north of Highway 210 and extending north and east at 55 miles per hour. since the storms are so close to the radar site, it takes a little bit longer for our scans to process. So I'm anxiously awaiting that latest velocity signal until it gets in.
Yeah.
Here, Brad.
We did have a report of some damage south of Alleman, which confirms what we've been watching. South of Alleman is where we had that tornado track, so we do have some damage there, and this is still likely on the ground here east of Cambridge, northeast of Cambridge. Again, it's moving a pretty good clip, so we need to get the latest update to see where that is, but it is moving off toward the Colo area. You folks in Colo, you are on the path of the tornado. Seek shelter immediately.
Here's the tornado. You can see that pronounced ball south of Nevada. And so Nevada, seek shelter, please. Colo, you need to be seeking shelter. And let's go ahead and get a little bit of a loop on this, and so you can get a sense on where it's going. And it does appear it's trying to be pulled a little bit more to the north there, Brad.
I think it's going to go right here, just the east side of Nevada. Probably where we're headed here, but yeah, you folks in Nevada, south side, east side, definitely looks like it is coming your way. And again, that is traveling, going to cross Highway 30 here within minutes.
And we're screaming signal there on the velocity product. So on Highway 30 between Nevada, Colo, a lot of rural area to traverse, but if you are out in this general vicinity, seek shelter.
Yes. So that is tornado confirmation. It is a dangerous situation. We have a debris ball. We have a large rotation there as well, a strong rotation, and it is south of Nevada.
And it has a history of doing damage too. So the Alleman area back through Polk City, and this one now has been on the ground for the better part of 15 miles at this point, or at least intermittently. And still, you can clearly see at the end of that hook where we're talking that this debris will be south of Nevada. Kind of trimming up that warning just a little bit. I'll throw the warning details out on screen so you know how long you need to seek shelter until 5:30 inside that polygon. This is going to be for eastern Story County. It does extend into northwestern Marshall County and eventually into Hardin County as well. Eldora not included, but something you need to be keeping close attention, paying attention to. Zeering as well. Anyone between Zeering and Colo on Highway 65 if you're nearby. We do have a confirmed tornado upstream from you. So let's go ahead and take a look at that velocity signal, and you can see exactly where it is. We have those really strong reds being pointed out in here, and that has given us some gate-to-gate shear of 60 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour individually in the bin. And on the green side of things, we have the velocity of 29 miles per hour. So you do the quick absolute math on that, we're exceeding 100 miles per hour rotationally over the span of a couple of miles. So this one's lifting northeast. Let's get the debris tracker back out, and it's still signaling it there.
Yeah, it's very pronounced, and it is still right here south of Nevada, heading to the north. And we're going to be starting the newscast in a couple of minutes, and I want to let the news people let me know where we're headed, what we're going to be showing people here in the future. It is all clear to the west of Des Moines. It's now going to be essentially east of I-35. So here's what we got. This is crossing Highway 30. This image might be a little bit old, but you can see it passing east of Nevada. Thankfully, it looks like that, Chris, is just going to miss the Nevada area.
Yeah. I would agree, Brad. It's passing just a couple miles east of town between Nevada and Colo. It is getting to the north side of Highway 20. Brad, I'm looking at the GR here, and we have some of those winds just howling. The outbound winds about 120 miles per hour, and inbound wind at 20. So this is rotating about 140 miles per hour. And you see that debris ball in there, east of Nevada, thankfully avoiding Nevada proper, but east of town. No doubt there's still some rural farms, some homesteads that are out there. You need to continue to be in your safe place. The velocity picture is a little bit dated at this point, so let's go to reflectivity and get a sense, and it still shows things passing Highway 30, but you can clearly see that circle Right along the highway, this is where that tornado would be, just about 1.5 miles or 2 miles east of Nevada. So a little bit of a zoom in will come down to the street level. So we're looking between 650th Ave and 19th Street in Nevada. Right along Highway 30 is where this one was passing.
It is, and thankfully missing Nevada as we look at it right now, but it is moving up to the northeast. So if you live in this area here in Story County, seek shelter and stay in your shelter till it passes. Again, moving very quickly. You don't have much time to react to this. Heading generally, it's to the west of Colo, but it could be affecting Zeering here. Go ahead and say that again.
We're about a minute out from our 5 o'clock newscast.
Okay, so we'll start that at 5. We still have a strong rotation. We still have a debris ball signature, very strong there as well. Again, passing between Colo and Nevada on the east side of Nevada right now, and it is moving off to the northeast. And that is the main act right now. We do have a tornado warning remaining down in eastern Polk County, and we will keep an eye on that, but nothing screaming at us there for warning. It's
more of a convergence signal at this point to me, Brad, but we'd be watching kind of in the bottom of this box right around Highway 163. Right. We've now entered Local 5 at 5 o'clock. We're at the start of our newscast, but we're going to keep it right here on weather as we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground in Story County and another cell that has a history of producing a tornado, that into eastern Polk, heading into Jasper County. So those are the two areas that we're really watching at this point. You can see that kidney bean approaching Colfax at the moment.
Okay, so we had to run that little open, I guess, to start the newscast, but you can see the rotation here that is happening with our system, and it is very, very pronounced there. And again, we're looking at that debris ball going between Nevada and Colo, and looking for that to move off to the northeast. And again, very strong rotation with this particular element. If we do look at the shear product, maybe we put that into the shear and we could watch the loop on that, because that'll tell us kind of if it's turning or not. But it is very pronounced because we have a significant tornado here, it looks like, with the system. And again, there it is moving on back. That's the shear track. It always lags. We can't loop the shear, the other product. Just loop the other product, the shear vision or whatever it is.
Yeah, so it's using it to show you the trajectory, kind of where it's going. The latest product is saying about halfway between Nevada and Colo, now just getting north of Highway 30. Zeering, you need to be in your safe place. Colo, continue to be in your safe place, especially if you're north of town. St. Anthony popping up onto view there. Minerva, as well, as it gets off into Marshall County and off to the north and east. You see that little ball right in the center between Nevada and Colo. That's where the current threat is at the moment, and we still have that strong rotation being noted into eastern Story County. This one moving north and east. Zeering, please be on high alert. If you're along Highway 65 between Zeering and Colo, seek shelter at the moment. Are there any new reports for us, Brad? As
I am not seeing any right now. Still, spotters are watching this system. Winds estimated at 65 miles per hour. That's up in Mason City, so still some strong winds on the northern side of this line. We have the confirmed tornado on the ground. It is east of Nevada in Story County, between Nevada and Colo, and it is moving off generally toward Fernald, and that is moving also towards Zeering. So looks like Zeering's in the path of this tornado right now.
Yeah, and power outage in Maxwell, maybe in tandem with this tornado that we have. It is currently on the ground still, and it's about ready to pass over into the northeastern part of Story County. This is the strongest signal that we have at the moment. As we bring up the CC, you see exactly where it is with that pronounced ball that is just northeast of Colo at this point, Brad.
And so it looks like it's going to be crossing Highway 65, might come very close to Zeering depending on the exact path, but it should stay north of Colo. Again, that's the debris from the tornado. It's not the tornado itself, but it's probably very indicative of where it is. It's right below that area. And of course, it's like taking a snapshot of a moving target. This is moving at northeast at 55 miles per hour, so we're keeping up with it, but it is tracking through this area here. And again, shear detection lags behind, but that is where it's been traveling, and it's probably going to go just on the south side of Zeering here, crossing Highway 65 very shortly.
Yeah, I'd be a little concerned for Zeering at the moment. Please continue to heed this warning as it continues to approach Highway 65, perhaps just south of town. But if you are in Zeering, please seek shelter. Northeastern Story County at the moment. We get into extreme northwest Marshall County and then up into Hardin County if this one does persist. This one now has been on the ground more or less basically since the Doppler ball. So if I kind of extrapolate back how far that is, we've been on the ground now, maybe intermittently, but for the last 27 miles, that'd put it close to a half hour now.
And there's another community, St. Anthony. It's a small community there. You're in the path of this tornado as well. So that is in St. Anthony, heading up to the northeast. That'll be right there. You can see it in the northwestern portion of Marshall County. I
can't emphasize this enough, Zeering. There is a tornado on the ground, and it is coming your way, perhaps slightly on the south side of town, but it would be close enough where I'd be seeking shelter. Look at the trajectory of this debris ball and where it is going. So I'll go ahead and put an arrow so you can track on where this one is going, and it does line it up, perhaps the south side of town there. So that's incoming right now. Yeah, here we go again. We've got another tornado heading in too close to a community again, and it is crossing that highway, which, excuse me, that's Highway 65. It's going to be crossing at this point. South side of Zeering, this velocity signal is a little dated right now. Anytime, again, we have thunderstorms close to the radar side, it just takes a little bit longer to get that most pronounced data into us. So this one is very near Zeering, continuing to push to the north and east with time. I'd have a hunch that we're going to be extending this one here pretty soon. You'll notice that we have a new tornado warning down to the south coming out of Colfax, and this is northern Jasper and getting into southern Marshall County. I will go to the scope and show you kind of the area of interest we're watching. And this is just a little bit dated as well, but the rotation is there kind of over Colfax in the data we're showing. And again, we're farther away from the radar, harder to see, but there is a rotation there and it's going to be more elevated, but this is the environment for tornadoes to form. So this is a new tornado warning. It's going to affect right around Colfax, heading up to the northeast. We're looking at Newton and these areas as well. So that is an area we have to watch as well over the next few minutes. Yeah, and this northern one especially, and you'll see the pink tornado warning there for East Metro. That is now out of your area. It's further to the north and east. That one will go by the wayside here shortly. But the most pronounced area right now showing the rotation is near Zeering. It's kind of washed out in the reflectivity picture. I would say this is now past US 65, moving to the north and east, and getting into that triple point with Marshall up into Hardin and Story County, getting very close there as the data we're looking at on screen is now just a little bit dated, but it's still within that pink tornado warning that does extend, I believe, until 5:30, excuse me. The threat level there, you see, is considerable. Now we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. I believe I was told, Mary, if I'm not mistaken, that we do have video coming in. I forget exactly where it was, but it is of this particular storm. Yeah, this is coming in from actually Martinsdale. It would be that southern circulation. So let's go ahead and bring that up. This is coming in courtesy of Laura. Very strong winds there. This was as that tornado was forming in the vicinity and certainly accelerating that wind. Yeah, that's some pretty turbulent wind that is coming through right there in Martinsdale. And we did end up seeing a confirmed tornado from that. Right now, that circulation is north and west of Newton. If we go back to max 2, we'll go ahead and get you a view on what we're looking at, that circulation back over Colfax. And the update will come momentarily, but here's the area of concern with this tornado warning. And we're told by the National Weather Service that this one is broad, but it is a strengthening vortex in there. Back up north we go. This one's going to be rain wrapped now. With the tornado near Zeering moving to the north and east. With time, you see that debris signature is still there
It
east
is.
of US 65.
And I've been watching it here on my other radar display, and it has gotten smaller, which is good, but it is definitely still there, and we still have a pretty tight rotation in that area as well. And that is south of Ziering. It may have may have slowed down a little bit, getting rain wrapped in that area. It doesn't look like it's still moving as quickly as it once was. We have that new warning down to the south, which is going to be, west of Newton, basically west of Newton, heading up toward the Baxter area, northern Jasper County. There's a warning in far southern Iowa as well, and that is a rotation south of Corydon in Wayne County. And that's another area we're watching for you folks down to the southern part of the state with a warning down here as well. So,
and this one's discrete, so
yeah,
we'll have to watch this one closely.
Has a tail to it there as well. So it is something that could definitely get going as we go into the next hour or so.
So this would be near the Allerton area and pushing north and east with time. We haven't had too much action down here into Wayne County. Also, just to the west of Sheraton, there's another little cell as well. I want to go ahead and put a track on things for you. Trying to clear the air here just a little bit, or clear the radar picture before we do that at the moment. But this is the cell we're tracking, north and east at about 55 miles per hour. It is tornado warned, so that does bring the southern and eastern side of Corydon in view in the next 10 minutes at 5:18 Mystic, at 5:34 if this does hold closer to Moravia as it gets up into Monroe County, at 5:44 Albia as well, 5:51. That is well down the line, but this does have a signal of some strong inbound winds at the moment with it, and it is now tornado warned. That tornado warning does last until 5:45, and it does include the community of Corydon and Allerton, moving up through Millerton as well. Had a tornado a few weeks ago, but right now we have tornado warnings stretching all the way across central Iowa from Marshalltown down towards the Corydon area. Brad?
Our debris signature to the north there, we've been watching this one that passed very close to the Colo area up towards Ziering, and that has lost a lot of its characteristics, but it's still there. But it's not quite as pronounced as before near Ziering.
Yeah, and I'll pull up the velocity, and I want to show you just as quickly as this one developed it, if it lost a lot of that rotational shear. It's very strong here for about three scans as I'm rocking it back and forth now. And you'll watch here, and all of a sudden it's certainly washed out. Good trend to be seen. We hope that does continue. But yeah, here's the latest debris detection. It's
kind of washed out.
It's flinging apart. It's no longer concentrated in tight, and it's now flinging apart and dissipating in its signal.
Yeah, tornadoes create a debris ball, basically a circle of debris in the atmosphere, and we see that, and now it's just fanning out. So that's a good sign for us all. We still have tornado warnings out there, and we're waiting for another one to spin up. Basically, it's just one after another. It seems like this afternoon. Yeah,
we'll be with you not only here at 5 o'clock, but more than likely as we get closer to the 6 o'clock hour on our eastern edge. There are discrete supercells now, especially this one down into Wayne County. Let's see if the rotation and no new signal there, or no new product on the velocity product there, Brad, but we do have some strong inbound winds. I'm guessing it's probably rotating higher up in the storm at this point. Looks like maybe a little bit towards Pleasantville, but not warned at the moment. Then we've been watching Jasper County, kind of in that little nook, that kink that's coming into view. Would be watching for a spin up along here. At this point, I don't quite see where there would be, but just, we were just talking about it on that northern one. They build up and they fade away very, very quickly.
Yeah, so we're watching all these little pockets where they could get some rotation tightening up and forming a tornado. And again, it does happen very, very quickly, as Chris was saying. So we have to kind of keep an eye on all of them. The one that developed over the radar site was extremely difficult. We would have to look at higher levels to actually look at the low level in that particular case, and that's what kind of happened there. But he's looking at shear detection here, kind of watching the path of that shear as it went up to that with that storm, coming out of Saylorville.
Yeah, that had a good signal on of a tornado for about 25 plus miles or so. Shear detection is showing around the Newton area, and that would coincide with kind of that nook in the thunderstorm that we'd be watching. I'd like to see those pixels a little more pinpointed if we're going to have a significant tornado threat right there, but that shearing action is where we're watching.
You know, and it goes to show you we've had at least 2 tornadoes that have been long-lasting tornadoes or long-track tornadoes today. And that was the fear, because the longer a tornado is on the ground, the more likely it's going to hit a community. And unfortunately, we do know that Greenfield was hit. We know we've had some damage in some other areas as well, but Greenfield by far, it looks like, has been the hardest hit today with these storms. Again, if you see the polygon that is in the magenta color, that is a confirmed tornado. The red tornado warnings are tornado warnings, radar indicated tornadoes, until we see something that tells us it's confirmed. And a lot of times that's the debris signature that we see, but we're not seeing anything like that right now, Chris, in these areas.
Sure.
Is that hail there?
And real briefly before we go to that, I do want to highlight there was a 71 mile per hour wind gust out of the Newton airport as this cell comes in. I don't think it's related to that tornadic area we'd be watching, but there is a signal that there is some very strong winds in here. So severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning in Jasper County for good reason. I have heard word that we have video. Refresh me what that was again, Mary? In Nevada. All right, let's go to that video out of Nevada. This should be of a tornado on the ground near Nevada Highway 30. Sometime you can have to sift through the trees just a little bit to be able to see it, but you can see that that cloud is making a connection to the ground. So this was coming in well, they'd be about 30 minutes or so ago. And this one narrowly missing Nevada on its eastern side. So we've been seeing them, Brad, and we still have a couple of those areas we're going to be watching.
We do. And
3 tornado warnings currently evolving right now.
So our tornado warning to the north, it still has some rotation. Of course, that's the one that had the long track tornado. North of St. Anthony, there's still some rotation in that area, and that is going to be a concern heading up toward New Providence, Union area. We also have the tornado warning going north of Newton right now. That is still got rotation there, but again, we're not seeing any signatures other than that. I don't see any debris, it looks like, looking at that. So let me put this into motion. I don't think we're seeing anything with that, but there is definitely some wind in that area. So rotation continues in these pockets, thunderstorms on down to the south as well. This one will be watched as well. But again, this one was confirmed. That was the one started in Saylorville. This one, we have a rotation there. It's north of Newton now. You can kind of see the signature of this curve back into the system. So definitely some rotation within the thunderstorm itself. And we're watching that little notch there north of Newton to see if anything can get going.
Yeah, it makes me nervous too. And that's what I saw on the reflectivity is that hook echo coming in. So definitely a good reason to have this tornado warning in place for northern Jasper County right now. This is north of Newton. But again, I mentioned just a few minutes ago that we had a 71 mile per hour wind gust at the Newton airport, that warning being extended into Tama County and Powesheik County as well. That wind rushing out. We haven't gotten the wind report to convey to us on the screen, but it'd be where that 28 is coming into view, I'd suspect. And this part of the storm is just rocketing its way outwards ahead. It's that hook, actually. So in and around Newton, I'd expect to hear of some wind damage anytime you're talking 70 plus miles per hour. That is going to do some damage in those areas that it is moving through. So a tornado warning, also that severe thunderstorm warning extending out further to the east. The details on that, it lasts until 6:15, and there is a considerable threat with it anytime you're talking that wind speed being 70 miles per hour or greater.
So interesting, I was looking at some of the storm reports, Chris, and there was trees uprooted in Johnston, 2 reports of them. So it wasn't just an isolated case, but it makes me wonder if we didn't see that tornado form sooner.
Yeah, and it was very close to the radar site too, so that makes it difficult to discern, but I think you're right.
Significant damage. I mean, trees uprooted in Johnston earlier today, and that's pretty significant there.
Wayne County right now, I do see that area of rotation that we're going to be watching for you. It's between Cordon and Promise City, right along Highway 2, moving to the north and east. It is a pretty rural territory, but you see a couple of communities popping up. Villages of Confidence in Bethlehem, this would be near you. Holding as we approach Lake Rathman and the Iconium area as well. You should be seeking shelter for a possible tornado there. Here's the area of circulation. It does look a little bit more pronounced than it has before.
And when I've looked at the higher elevations, it's still pretty strong. So it definitely has significance to it. And again, that is going to be going west of Promise City, just crossing Highway 2 right now. And that is a strong circulation. We'll keep an eye on that to see if we see anything with debris on that. But that could definitely develop into a tornado any second right now. We've got the northern storms as well. We're watching this little pocket near Williamson. Still some rotation with that. That might be too far to the west, hopefully, but that is definitely rotating.
It's definitely an area to watch for sure. Some convergence signals on the velocity signal there. We'll pull out the reflectivity. That would be right at the southern end of that particular cell, which is now also severe thunderstorm warned for that one as well. So a few pockets we're watching. I'm guessing this warning is also tagged as tornado possible. Yeah. And I think most everyone from here on out is going to be as well.
We've got video now out of Zeering or near Zeering of that tornado. You can see it in the distance there. Pretty amazing video again.
It's a stovepipe.
Yeah, these are strong tornadoes. In many cases, we've had some very violent tornadoes coming through, and that was one of them. That's near Zeering earlier today.
Lots of trees down. I'm seeing in Ankeny, right along First. So that's a major road too. There's some trees down blocking traffic. That coming in via text message from a friend of mine living in Ankeny. So thank you, Mitch, for that. And that would coincide with some strong winds and that tornado just north of town. That would be about the time it was watching. A little bit of broad circulation here in northern Jasper County. So that would be where we do have a tornado warned cell at the moment too, approaching Laurel, Haverhill. This would be just south of Marshalltown and LeGrand on down the way as well. I'd be seeking shelter for a possible tornado here as this one moves to the north.
Yeah, it actually has a meso, so which means up in the middle of the storm, it's very strong rotation in that one. So definitely watch that. You can see we've got rotation just about everywhere with these thunderstorms. Again, we're kind of keeping an eye on all of them. It's like juggling balls here. Thunderstorms down to the south, or Newton rather, and you can see those thunderstorms there as well. A little pocket. We're looking at debris detection to see if anything shows up. Anything there, Chris?
I think we might. I want to give it another scan,
maybe
but
that
would coincide where that rotation is.
It does coincide. Let me take a look at this other product I have.
So we're watching that little yellow shading, basically right where I'm growing this scope out, and it lines up right with the rotation here.
It's hard. It's not a well. We might need one more scan.
So here's we have some clutter there, and I believe there's a wind farm in the area, so it kind of disrupts things. I want to give it another scan and see, but it does coincide with that area of rotation. And let's see, did we get an update to the velocity signal here too? Not yet, but here's the small little dot, and it'd be west of Laurel.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we will keep an eye on that.
Down south, we might want to go back to Cordon, and there might be a debris signature there with that tornado warning down here. And if we put that with the velocity, there was an area in that.
Should I back it up here? Yeah, I can see we're coming out of Promise City.
No, maybe not.
So yeah, we'll have to watch this too. Two distinct tornado warnings right now, very warranted at this point. That area of rotation, new signal coming in, and it's kind of strengthened as it's moved closer to the Lake Rathman area. This is all going to be generally rural area. This is east of Confidence, south of Confidence, so very near you. We have a cemetery there, a bend in the road. This one moving to the north and east. It would be south of Melrose at the moment. So yeah, this is going to be that area we'll watch, and let's go over to that debris detection and see what we have and see if we can line anything up at the moment. Kind of muddled at this point.
And again, it's high up in the sky because we're farther away from the radar. So we'll keep an eye on that, but that's probably our strongest rotation right now. And it is in an area that's kind of favorable for tornadoes because of that stronger and warm, moist inflow that it has.
Yeah, it's kind of isolated or discrete, if you will, rather than this being an entire line.
So we have 2 tornado warnings right now. This one is further to the north around Laurel right now, coming out of Jasper County, I guess, and then moving to the north. And it's around Laurel, I think the strongest rotation right now. Not seeing much too concerning there, but again, doesn't take long.
A lot of thunderstorm wind in there too, so we're estimating some 70-mile-per-hour winds too, even if there's not a tornado. So that's going to do some significant damage in there. Right near Laurel is where the worst of it is, and I do see a little bit of a peaking going on, but these little pockets where we start getting pink. So this is incoming to Marshalltown. Be prepared for 70-mile-per-hour wind possibility here with this severe thunderstorm as it does move in. Pronounced Boeing segment between Kellogg and Laurel. A lot of flooded roads in here too, so don't try to go out and catch this one, folks. You might be trapped by some flooded roads and may not be in a safe place, and that's going to be a little bit of the concern that we're dealing with.
I think we have a camera. 235 is getting some issues there. If we can go to that, it's a live camera, I believe, a DOT camera, and there was some a backup earlier. I don't know if some debris got blown out onto the interstate, it looks like. But things are improving, it looks like. But, looks like something's out there.
It's just off the sign.
Yeah,
this is the bend right at University, is it? Yeah. This would be looking into the eastbound, northbound lanes as you make that curve there. Some debris there just off the sign, and that is certainly slowing traffic a little bit. I think we had a tornado here, Brad, just northwest of Laurel on the CC. Brief, it's within there. We should all continue to seek shelter. It's rain wrapped, so you're not going to see it, but it does line up with where some of those stronger velocity signals have been. It
is still a rotation there, and there's a little something there. So maybe it's just harder. It's not as easy to discern as some of the other ones, but definitely it could be. And that warning does continue there. So if you're in Laurel, Ferguson, those areas, you're still under that tornado warning. Haverville, even Gilman, all in that warning right now.
And tornado or not, there's 70-mile-per-hour winds that are coming in there too. Let's pull up those winds. I'll let them load as we take a look at things. Just passing along some reports. There's some damage in Windsor Heights. There is a 71-mile-per-hour wind gust out of Newton at the airport that has come along. There is the town of Hubbard in Hardin County is without power, some estimated 60-mile-per-hour winds. And there's some more tree damage in the Johnston area as well. So damage reports really just flowing in at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, there's going to be Newton. Just some duplicate reports coming in. Way up north in Algona, 70-mile-per-hour winds. Hampton is gusting to 74 miles per hour. A lot of strong wind coming in out of this. So there's Newton at 71. You see that strong wind. And this would be near Laurel to Marshalltown at the moment, approaching the Grinnell area. Hampton is gusting to 64 miles per hour. That's up in Franklin County, kind of behind this strongest part of this storm, but it's a signal of what is out there, my friends.
Yeah, so there's definitely some wind with these storms, maybe stronger than the wind we had earlier today. These storms packing a punch in tornadoes and with wind as well. Thankfully, they're moving pretty quickly, so they're not going to be around dumping a lot of heavy rain because a lot of places are just flooded already, and we're seeing these thunderstorms coming through. Wind is definitely a threat for everyone. Tornadoes are more isolated where they are at. We still have a couple of pockets of rotation out there. We're still watching, I guess there's 2 tornado warnings in effect. One would be near the Ferguson area, southern, southeastern Marshall County, and then also down to the south, some rotation there. In Appanoose County, it looks like northwest Appanoose, strongest rotation. And 2 warnings that remain in effect, nothing confirmed at this time.
Well, this would be out into the Lake Rathbun area or getting very close to it. We need an update on some of our products. I believe this one to be a little bit old as well. But that's what we're just dealing with right now. This both of these storms coming to the edge of their tornado warning. So we'll see what happens. I would just err on the side of caution. And if you're on the northeast side of each of these tornado warnings, whether it be into Monroe County or Marshall County, Tama County, please be prepared for tornadic circulations coming your way. Regardless, it looks like the strongest winds, if there's a tornado or not, coming out of Marshall and Jasper County at the moment. This section of the storm is showing a signal for that rear inflow, which helps accelerate, propel, and fans those winds down along the ground.
Yeah, I was looking at power outages actually, and it looks like 26,000 people in Polk County alone are without power, and we've had a lot of power outages in northern Iowa this afternoon as well. So it's been a pretty rough day all the way around. And of course, Greenfield was hit by the tornado. We've got a crew on the way to that area.
So still some circulation, waiting for an update here on the velocity, but that would be into Marshall County now. If it is still holding in kind of that circulation, it'd be north of Gilman, and then to LeGrand, I'd say continue to seek shelter for a possible tornado there. Even if we don't have a new tornado warning out right now, I still think that potential is going to be there. And you have that strong wind that is coming into place as it approaches Tama County as well. Newly issued tornado warning that's going to extend that southern storm down by Lake Rathman and move it northeastward towards Albia and Eddyville and eventually the southern edge of Oskaloosa. Yeah,
that one's been probably the strongest rotation we have right now on our radar. So that one doesn't surprise me. They're going to extend that. So you folks in Monroe County and up toward Oskaloosa, you're going to be in a new warning, a tornado warning that has just been issued. So keep that in mind. And that is a southern storm where it might have more energy to work with. So something we have to watch closely. Of course, these are going to continue to move off to the northeast about 45, 55 miles per hour. Let's see what the latest. 55 still, so 55 miles per hour. So they'll continue to move eastward and moving away from the metro. We are done with severe weather here in central and western Iowa, the metro. You can come out of your houses and see what's going on.
There's a couple of discrete cells in here. One northeast of Melcher, Dallas, kind of towards the Knoxville area, targeting Pella on down the line that we'd be watching. That is individualized. I'd say the threat with this tornado warned storm is between Iconium and Melrose. As you take the road down towards Lake Rathman, moving to the north and east at 55 miles per hour. We'll track it for you as this one does continue on its trajectory. This would bring it towards Albia at 5:45, Eddyville towards the top of the 6 o'clock hour. And if it does continue to hold, Oskaloosa at 6:06. This is radar indicated. Not seeing the debris detection show anything, but there is a little bit of that strong inbound and circulation noted. A couple of miles to the south and east of Melrose, right near the tip of this arrow is where we would be watching for that rotation to be placed as that now crosses north of Lake Rathman and making its trek closer to Albia. So I'd say Albia, you need to be seeking shelter. We've seen these areas of rotation really strengthen quickly, and they've also dissipated quickly. So in between these radar scans, we could be seeing some of that strengthening. It's in a favorable spot to do so.
I think so too, Chris. Maybe we recap a little bit here right now, show the big picture, show maybe the storm reports. We've got a crew heading to Greenfield right now to take a look at what's going on there. Of course, they were hit by a tornado earlier. Here's our line of thunderstorms moving into eastern Iowa now. We still have some activity south of Des Moines, but that is not severe at the moment. But basically, this is going to be a lot of wind with embedded tornadoes possible and heavy rain, and flooding has been a problem. You can see the flash flooding continues out here in parts of west central Iowa, where maybe today they've seen 7 inches of rain in some of those areas today, all things considered. Now, thunderstorms will continue to move eastward here. They are going to move out of our viewing area probably within an hour or so, and that'll be a great thing. Good riddance to them. But yeah.
We'll get rid of them. A report
this is the one
from the Marshalltown Airport of 64 miles per hour. So there's some extremely strong wind. And you notice that tornado warning is now gone. It has not been reissued. I would still say that tornadoes will be possible in some of those nooks and crannies, but You can kind of see two areas that are bowing out. I'll go ahead and pause this right now. And it's accelerating that wind forward and producing some of those stronger wind gusts that in there. So again, 64 miles per hour out of Marshalltown. Earlier in Newton, I believe we had 71 miles per hour. Here's the latest wind gust. This is a very powerful thunderstorm right here, and it is capable of producing a tornado. New Providence gusting to 54 miles per hour in the last 30 minutes, and Iowa Falls to 48. We had Hampton to 64. So all along this entire line, there's some very strong wind that's being reported. Again, Newton to 71, 33 in Knoxville, 41 miles per hour out of Sheraton, and then we get down to our tornado warned storm that is down here encroaching on Albia at the moment. Brad, you're analyzing the radar. What do you see?
Yeah, so I was looking at some storm reports too, and a lot of people have lost power again. Ankeny, a lot of parts of Ankeny are out of power right now, and the strongest rotation is still down there just to the east of Melrose, and that is going to take it right into the center of Monroe County. Albia, you're definitely in the path of this storm, and this is the most pronounced rotation that we have on the radar. So it's the most concerning storm out there right now as far as tornadic development. As Chris was saying, though, there's still some areas in Marshall County and heading into Tama County. There's still rotation there. We have some gusty winds, so we'll keep an eye on that. We have one tornado warning out, and that is down here in Monroe County and down into southern Mahaska County and a small portion of Wapello County. But yeah, we've got our hands full still with thunderstorms going through the area in eastern Iowa.
Yeah, so on a screen here, I've highlighted some of the textbook areas, if you will, that we'd be watching for some of the spin-ups right at the apex of the bows and then in the nooks in between. So three distinct areas I'd be watching, and I don't see significant rotation here, but those would be the areas to watch.
Watching those areas as well. And of course, it's been a damaging day out there. Straight line winds, tornadoes, two long track tornadoes we think have affected our area, and this continues to be a heavy thunderstorm coming into Tama County right now and extending down to Newton. You've got some pretty bad weather there as well, and there's our tornado warning further to the south here, and that is some hail, some larger hail south of Knoxville right now.
Yeah, and I'll just sample this southeast of Marshalltown too, and I believe the warnings are for up to quarter-sized hail. That's going to hurt, no doubt, perhaps even cause some minor property damage. There's another one with that tornado warned cell entering Monroe County as well. Reports on the hail side of things have been pretty tame. It's been mostly wind and tornadoes at the moment. The lone tornado warning at the moment is now into Monroe County, Mahaska County, Wapello County. So right there where those meet, see that northern warning get trimmed there over Marion, and Knoxville moving towards Pella. But this is the most intriguing at the moment with the velocities. It's still showing a bit of rotation there. This is approaching Highway 34, a couple of miles west of Albia. It does appear to be rather broad at the moment, but it is something that is most definitely there. I'm going to go ahead and sample things a little bit on my alternative product I'm looking at, and kind of a rotational speed of about 60 miles per hour. So across a couple of mile diameter there, right along Highway 34 there in Monroe County.
Yeah, I'm looking for any debris detection, not seeing anything right now that's standing out from that particular cell, but the rotation remains, although it's fairly broad from what I'm seeing here. So that's good news with that. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings with tornadoes possible. They're all to the east of I-35 right now. Everything's moving away, and continue to hope it continues to kind of wind down. But this is the cell down here to the south that's showing the most signs of trying to form another tornado. Again, the Des Moines area clear of storms right now. We should be fine. Cold front coming through, and we're going to see some pretty strong winds behind this system, kind of clearing things out, drier, cooler air moving in. And these thunderstorms will continue to move through eastern Iowa with the threat for more severe weather into the evening hours here. But they are moving off to the northeast about 55 miles per hour, going through Marshalltown. They're coming into Oskaloosa, and eventually Ottumwa. You're in the path of some of these storms as well.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some reports of damage in and around Ankeny, some trees that are down in that area, some lawn furniture that's been broken. Also one of some flash flooding in Indianola, some street and road flooding where some of those roads are closed and vehicles are stranded. So we've seen a lot of rain just in the last 48 hours, and it is paramount that we get that warning out of flash flooding. And over Marshall and Jasper County, that's the last place that needs any more rain. Some of the estimates there, and some very strong wind as it now starts to target Tama County, taking on Toledo here in a matter of moments. We get up to the Traer area as well, and coming out of Marshalltown. So 70+ mile-per-hour winds will be possible in some of these areas.
You know, it's been a very busy spring so far. I would venture to guess to this day, it's probably the busiest it's ever been for tornadoes in Iowa up through May, whatever we are, the 21st or whatever, but it's been very active. So what we're looking at here is velocity, looking for those pockets of rotation. This one kind of catches your eye as Chris zooms in on that. So watching for these areas of rotation. These little pockets of red and green. Again, there are little pockets out there, but nothing standing out too pronounced right now.
I'd be watching that cell coming into Pella with some broad rotation coming in. No tornado warning at the moment, but something to watch. The lone tornado warning is again near Albia right now with that rotation, fairly broad but still in place, and it does extend up into the upper levels of the atmosphere a little bit too. Waiting on the next update to the radar in that regard, but it is definitely there as we move upwards in the radar beam, especially through about 2 or 3 degrees. So it's extending up through the thunderstorm. It has some of that upper level support. Strong winds coming out of Marshall County into Tama County, I think, is definitely a significant threat too. And then just the overall theme that we've had too much water in the last 2 days or so. And that's just something that you asked us a month ago that we probably wouldn't think that we'd have to be talking about. But we're inundated, flash flooding. So this is not a time to go out and try to spot these rotations or the damage. Do so after the fact, if you would. Please stay safe. It's just not easy to get around right now, considering the amount of flooding and the amount of heavy rain that's going on in the moment in these thunderstorms.
Looks like north of Toledo in Tama County. It looks like a stronger rotation. It looks like it's supported aloft, and it's on one of those little Boeing kind of segments as well.
Just back to the west of Toledo along Highway 30.
Yeah, well, this I'm looking at the GR product. It's between Garwin and Toledo.
Okay.
So yeah, it was.
Let's see if I can bend the radar beam up here just a little bit.
It was in this area right here, so we'll see what it goes. But it was in that area. So it's an area to watch for some development.
Either way, there is some strong wind in there, and this one has a history of 70 to 75 mile-per-hour winds, and so that's getting into the Toledo area. Anytime you see that bulging out, that bowing, if you will, and ignore the arrowhead here, just think of that as a bow pushing out. That wind just accelerates itself forward, and it's usually a pretty good signal that there is some strong wind there. So if you're in the Tama and Toledo area, be prepared for some very strong wind here momentarily. While we're on this signal, let's pop back down to Albia. We need an update desperately, as this data is now more than 5 minutes old.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at GR. It's still a strong rotation over the Heitman area, passing probably just west of Albia for the strongest rotation there in Monroe County.
Yeah, west and north, and I would say, based on the lack of update, that this is getting close to Highway 5 between La Villa and Albia. At this point, that would be the area of concern. It's been fairly broad, but that inbound wind is fairly significant. And a new report coming in of some thunderstorm wind damage in Albia. This is not in tandem with a tornado, it's saying, but with some of the gusty winds that came out ahead of the storm. It would be some wind damage 2 miles to the south of Albia. No estimated wind speed with that, but certainly is there. Also a hail report coming in out of Melrose. That's 1.5 inches in diameter. And so we're looking at ping pong ball size hail, I believe, there, and then hail near Albia up to the size of quarters. So this is a powerful storm system with some hail, wind, and tornado threat.
So I want the producer to tell me how close we are to getting to Greenfield. I know a crew is on the way. Can you tell me how close we are to getting a shot?
Yeah, and while he works on that, I've moved back up to the north towards Toledo. We have the severe thunderstorm warning, and I'll tell you the details with this one. We're warned for 70 plus miles per hour wind with this one. It has a history of it. This is powerful, and a new tornado warning. Brad, it's that circulation you were watching.
Yeah, it's just on the leading edge of that bowing segment. You know, it basically the top of the bow. Basically, you can see the rotation that can form there. So this is the area right here, and it kind of curls its way up. That rear flow just really pushes out and kind of cranks up.
So Trayer, you need to be in your safe place. Please continue to seek shelter for a radar indicated tornado. That area of rotation is right along Highway 63 north of Toledo. But before the bend to take you back east to go to Trayer, new update coming in. Yeah, it's basically right on Highway 63 at the moment. This one is moving to the north and east with time. It will be in Trayer by 5:53 and continue up and out of the local 5 area into Evansdale by 6:16 and then Jessup and Indy eventually on down the line. So the threat right now north of Toledo with this newly issued tornado warning, and this warning does go until it's going to be 6:15. So this warning is going to be into effect until 6:15. And north of Toledo, you need to be seeking shelter through Trayer, Cloutier, and extending further to the north and east. Eventually, you're going to get into Black Hawk County.
So both of our tornado warnings are till 6:15. So that is when we are going until at least 6:15. So we're watching these as 2 systems right now capable of producing a tornado. Radar indicated it, and we're watching it. Of course, we look at products such as our debris detection to see if we can see anything. But there's your information with that cell, and
this is a new one.
That's outside of our viewing area. That's going up into Parkersburg.
Yeah, so getting up there towards Parkersburg, there's also wind estimates of 70 miles per hour as well on the fringe edge of the local 5 area moving out with this line of storms, and then on down to the south. Coming out of Monroe County into Mahaska. Since we have some new data, let's go ahead and take a look at that. It does look like this one's trying to bow. I would call this a meso signal given the placement with this cell, but you can see them develop into be tornadic as well. Looks like it may be starting to push forward, accelerate a little bit, and so I'd be watching for some damaging wind potential with this one as well. North of Albia, this would be very close to La Villa at the moment, I believe, north on Highway 5. Yeah, that's where that circulation would be at the moment, with this one passing to the east of town there. And kind of riding up the road just north of 137 towards Eddyville, we have some rotation, Brad.
Yeah, so I was looking at more data here. These thunderstorms, we've got 2 that are most concerning for us right now. One is in Tama County, and the other one is in southern Iowa, and that is down into Monroe County. And there's definitely some rotation there. It's been persistent rotation. It's now north of Albia. But we're not seeing it kind of coming together yet. This is the other one up to the north in Toledo. So we got that area, and then the one down further south, and that's this one right here. So north of Albia, again, broad rotation there. It hasn't really come together tightly to form a tornado yet. So we're keeping an eye on that, but you are in that warning in Eddyville, Oskaloosa. You are in the path of the storm, so seek shelter in those areas. Stay in your shelters as it moves off to the northeast. This warning is until 6:15, another 30 minutes before we can say goodbye to that storm.
Sure. And Brad, just to recap, we have some significant damage about 12 miles east of Hubbard. I believe this would have been near where we had a tornado earlier. There's some significant damage to a home. It looks like walls completely down to a home, and also damage to a barn. I'm going to work on passing these over to the news. Brad, if you want to talk just just a little bit.
That was in Hardin County. We're looking at that. I'm looking at the same damage he is. Yeah, it looks pretty significant to at least one house. So we've got severe weather remaining here in eastern Iowa. Again, the Des Moines area. If you're east of I-30 or west of I-35, you're in the clear. To the east of us, we still have that threat for severe weather. Even some more storms trying to develop near Sheraton, although I think the threat there would be hail, if anything. These thunderstorms here north of Albia, that's where we have some rotation moving up to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Now this warning goes until 6:15, and then it's going to be moving into eastern Iowa, and this will all be moving out of the viewing area. We hope to have a 6 o'clock news, and maybe we can show you what's going on with some of these pictures. Is this live?
Yes, Brad. This is our storm tracker. They just arrived in Greenfield, so these are our first
Need to
live
open her
images.
mic up.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
There you
everybody.
go.
This is Stephanie. Our storm tracker has just arrived in Greenfield. These are our first live images as they drive into town. They're having to navigate around some road closures. As you can imagine, some of the areas are not safe to drive. And also worth mentioning, do not show up in these areas right now. They have plenty of emergency management crews doing the necessary work in the immediate aftermath right now. But Chris, you're getting a good look at some of the damage there. And this is on the outskirts kind of what's happening. We have Dana and Rachel there right now.
Do we have Dana on the phone with us at all? Can we work on getting her?
We do not.
Let's
right now,
work on getting her
that.
to see if she can convey what she's describing. But we're looking on significant damage to homes.
And they're coming in from the north side of town. So they're working their way. As you can see, there's a blockage right there. It looks like.
And full of debris,
Yeah.
vehicles, and trees. Trees are stripped. This is going to be a high-end tornado. I don't want to speculate on the rating, but this is going to be climbing the scale, extensive devastation.
Honestly, I think EF3 or higher. I'd be surprised if that's EF2. So it's a significant tornado, just the size of the trees, the damage to some of the houses. Of course, not every house is damaged in the same way. We just hope everybody was safe through that terrible event in Greenfield. Hopefully everyone had a basement, had a safe place to be, because they were devastated by that tornado. And what was the time on that? Do you remember, Chris, what time
I don't.
Greenfield was hit?
It's been so long ago now.
I'd say 4 o'clock.
3:30 to 4 o'clock.
So that's why we take this so seriously, because it only takes one tornado. And we're watching still down here in southern Iowa. We haven't seen strong indications yet, but there's a rotation there in southern Iowa. We've got some in Tama County as well. But this one's probably the one to watch, I think, and that's coming toward the Eddyville area. Still rotation there. It just hasn't tightened up. It's been kind of a broad area through the last 30 minutes or so.
We have Dana mic'd now, if you guys would like to hear from.
Yeah, Dana, let's go back to your live video and tell us, Dana, what are you seeing in town?
Hey Dana, it's Stephanie. Can you hear me?
All right, well, we work on getting Dana up with us. Just chime in when she's ready to go. We can keep this dual feed going and keep track on what's happening now and what has happened in Greenfield with the extensive damage. Good lead time heading into Greenfield, so hopefully everyone is safe and all accounted for. Hopeful for that. And again, please do not try to go to Greenfield unless you're there ready to work in emergency response. So that's the only way you can get there. That is extreme damage there. Our one tornado warning in southern Iowa we're watching is headed towards Eddyville. So we'll watch that for you. Please continue to seek shelter if you are in Eddyville to the south side of Oskaloosa. I see a rotation. I think that's more meso-related, Brad, as it kind of looks more west of town, but the hook, the signature on the reflectivity would be indicative of that one getting closer to Eddyville.
Yeah, it is. Looks like it's going to pass pretty close, heading to the south side of Oskaloosa. Between Eddyville and Oskaloosa is what we're looking at probably with that strong. Now we have Dana. Dana, can you tell us what you're seeing there? It looks devastating.
Hey guys, yeah, we just got into town. A lot of roads are closed right now, but a lot of people are out and about kind of looking at this damage. I mean, initial thoughts just coming into town, you really can't put it into words. There are a lot of ambulances, a lot of first responders here. Coming in, we actually saw 3 ambulances leaving town, and then we also saw a number of Iowa State Patrol making their way into town along with us, but it is just completely destroyed out here. A lot of cars, we saw earlier on the picture, a lot of cars are totally destroyed. We drove past a few houses that barely even have their foundation left, but a lot of people just out and about right now looking at this damage, kind of getting the initial looks, but we're going to be out here for a little while and trying to see it all. A lot of tree branches down, the community's out and about, still trying to figure out what's all going on here, but we'll be making our way and keep surveying the damage out here.
Hey, Dana, Chris here, and I'm just wondering, I know you just got to town, but how much of town has seen damage? I know the video that you're showing right now isn't quite as extreme as it was when you first pulled in. Can you estimate how much of town has been impacted?
Yeah, so it looks like there was a direct line that you can directly see where this tornado went through. We did see on the outskirts of town some roads that we took in. We did see houses still intact. Parts of town are still okay, but this road that we are actually driving on right now, you can see this is clearly the path of where that storm went through. So right to my right here, this is one of the homes that actually just doesn't even have their foundation standing. So I think there is one general path, and I mean, it is a small community out here, so a big chunk of this town is destroyed, but there is still about a half of it that is still intact. So if I had to guess from just what I've seen, I'd say, you know, maybe 75% of it is near to the ground right now.
In the damage, that house right off to your right there, half of it is missing. The whole trees are gone. This is an extensive tornado that ripped through Greenfield. Some of the smallest communities have the biggest heart. We're with you, Greenfield, as you deal with this. Dana, if you have anything else to report, please let us know and we'll get back to you. We'll keep this video feed rolling periodically as we continue on. I do want to get back to what's happening right now, though, on Max 2. We do have Eddyville in prime placement to see a possible tornado. You need to be seeking shelter. Same goes for Oskaloosa, as I do bring the scope into the equation here. You see the rotation is kind of passing between town, riding the northern side of that polygon on where that strongest rotation would be, up into the heart of it. So this tornado warning does continue on, and it's going to last until 6:15. It is radar indicated at the moment, but this threat continues to evolve northeastward and could carry some strong winds too, capable 60 miles per hour. There's a severe thunderstorm near Sully, some hail and wind threats with it, and a little bit of a kidney bean look to it
There's
as well.
rotation there, Chris.
Yeah.
They may have to issue a warning, a tornado warning for that area near Linville. Been watching that for the last few minutes here, and it looks pretty organized right now. So we'll keep an eye on that area as it moves in. It's got a little notch there near Linville, and trying to develop something there as well. So right in here, that would be heading into Powesheik County, Montezuma, Searsboro generally, and heading off to the northeast. So still a lot going on out there. We are continuing to look at the video that's coming in from Greenfield. Devastating hit, basically a direct hit on Greenfield there. I've seen some aerial pictures of the hospital area. It looks like the hospital is still standing. However, a lot of the houses and buildings around the hospital were just destroyed. So the situation right now is we still have a couple of tornado warnings going out there, and they're going to continue to move off to the east here. They go till 6:15 for the warnings.
And Brad, this is a new tornado warning too. This one over Tama County. It lasts until 6:15. It is a radar indicated tornado, so still several circulations that we're going to be watching. I believe the threat would be towards pardon me, this is not a new warning. It has been in place for quite some time. Just kind of all blurring together. Apologies on that, as that cell does exit the local 5 5 area, and as it moves closer to Black Hawk County, a radar indicated tornado on the ground there. So still a few areas of circulation that we're going to be watching as this one continues to move its way eastward and out of the local 5 area. A couple trailing thunderstorms from Knoxville to Sheraton to Cordon, but at this point that would be in a not so favorable area to see redevelopment.
I'm hearing the southeast side of Greenfield was hit the worst.
Okay.
With some of the texts I'm getting.
Okay, and extensive damage at that. For now, I think as we cross into Powesheik County, out of Jasper County, there's some broad rotation that bears watching with that compact little supercell there, and then we continue down into Mahaska County as well. Very near Oskaloosa, so we'll have to watch to see what the airport does there in response with some of the wind reports, some very strong wind, the circulation passing in over town Oskaloosa. You need to be in your safe place. On east on 92 towards Rose Hill as well, eventually extending to the north and east.
So I think we wanted to go back to Dana.
I do, yeah. Dana does have eyes on the hospital in Greenfield, and this was something we were working to confirm. We had a lot of reports that there was damage, significant damage in the area of the hospital, a nursing home, a Casey's store right around there, and that there were people kind of congregating at the Dollar General right in that area. Dana, what are you seeing? It looks like there's a lot of emergency vehicles. I see a tractor there. What are you seeing as far as the hospital goes?
Yes, Stephanie, you can see the hospital still looks like it's standing, but what I can kind of see, I think it looks like the roof is a little bit gone. It looks a little bit open. To our left, which we're turning our right now, but to the left, tons of emergency vehicles. But as we go to our right, this is where we're headed down to the Dollar General, which is where we're hearing triage might have moved to, because that hospital, I can't fully see, but it does look like a good portion of that roof has come off, and it looks like I don't see anybody really going in and out of there, but we do see a lot of people making their way this way. But it's very emotional out here. I just saw actually a couple of people be reunited with some of their friends. There are tears, lots of hugs, a lot of people just trying to find one another. We're working to find out where everybody is right now and working to find out if people are okay. It's really hard to put this into words, and it's a really, really sad and scary scene out here, but the whole community does look to be out here. We have the Casey's right here too that is completely destroyed as well. That got hit pretty hard, but yeah, looks like we're on the side of town that was hit really, really bad, and that's right where that hospital was. So we're gonna make our way to that Dollar General to see if we can find out where triage is going on and what's kind of going on to make sure everyone's okay.
And Dana, I understand this is emotional and tough to sort through, so just take your time. We appreciate everything that you can show us right now. We have a lot of people who have loved ones in Greenfield. They are just waiting for any word that we can get. I see a lot of debris there. I mean, you're seeing it all over town. Have you seen anybody that looks like they have been injured or heard of any injuries or anything of that matter?
So we haven't seen anybody or any sign of injuries. All I can tell you is I did see those 3 ambulances leaving when we were driving in, and we do keep seeing ambulances driving around. So we don't have anything confirmed right now, but it is a really scary, indescribable scene out here. So we're gonna keep working on that.
Okay, Dana and Rachel, thank you for what you're doing. Be safe out there. We'll check in with you again when you have a little bit more to update us with. And I do want to speak to those injuries and that response that Dana was just talking about. We did hear that this might be a multi-community response, and we're starting to see evidence of that. We have been in contact with the Earlham Rescue Captain Blake Boyle. He says in his community there at the Earlham Fire Station, a family from Adair County that was impacted by the tornado came to the fire station for help. They were transported by a Madison County ambulance to a Des Moines hospital with serious injuries. So we just saw a Taylor County ambulance there. We're hearing of Madison County. This is a multi-county response right now. We're just running our open right now so we can restart our newscast, but here we are again at the 6 o'clock hour. Just want to let you know that we are in Greenfield. We're getting our first looks. As you can see, there are huge emergency response in that community as they just start to assess the damage, figure out if there are people who are hurt and need help, and really just take in what's going on. And this goes on, Chris and Brad, as we're still watching more severe weather in this state.
Yeah, we're not completely out of the woods for sure. We have a couple of tornado warnings. The most likely one maybe to produce a tornado is down around Oskaloosa right now. We still have some rotation there. We're watching things. Chris, do you see anything alarming right now?
Brad, nothing immediate at the moment. I'll go over to the velocity signal. There is some broad rotation passing over Oskaloosa at the moment, and that corresponds with that tornado warning. But it is not hyper-localized, gate to gate, if you will.
Yeah, so that's the one we're watching. If that were to tighten up, we could have another tornado, but right now it is on the broad side of things, and we've got some other pockets up here as well moving eastward. So there are still a couple of tornado warnings in effect until 6:15. And then we'll see what happens after that. But safe to say things are moving east, and they will be moving out of our viewing area shortly.
There is some very strong wind up around Tama County, and I do see a report coming in from the Meskwaki Reservation of some damage coming in there. Also, 5 miles northeast of Maxwell prior, this is a dated report closer to 5 o'clock, that a tornado did do some damage there. In Traer, estimated 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. This is also in a tornado warning. And we also have some power lines down in Cambridge and some other tree and debris in the area that would line up very close to where we had that tornado move through. Beacon in Mahaska County, there's some small trees down and some shingles that are blown off. I don't know who wants to take that correspondence that you just heard. Go ahead.
We do have another crew that just arrived in Greenfield. We have Jake Brend there right now, and he is mic'd and ready to talk to us about what he's seeing. I mean, I can't get over these images. Every time you show us something new, it is absolutely unbelievable. Jake, we just heard from Dana, but I'm curious as to what your perspective is, what you witnessed when you arrived in Greenfield.
Yeah, Stephanie, so we came into town from I-80, and now we are over on the eastern part of Greenfield. And right here, we are on the corner of Southeast 5th Street and Jackson Street, and it's a really rough scene. You can see this pickup truck just destroyed, and it's over tree branches, limbs. It appears that there was a house on the corner of this street that is no longer there, and that's really what you're seeing, is a lot of either just demolished houses or houses missing a roof. You can see these trees just, if they're not uprooted, they're missing almost all their branches, and if there are branches, there's sweatshirts, there's rain jackets in those branches. You can just tell that something truly horrifying went through here. And I want to talk from my perspective. The last time that I was in Greenfield, I was here for the first ever girls wrestling tournament in Iowa that was sanctioned at the Nottoway Valley School, and it was a night of pure excitement in that community. So I've seen how this community is before, and it's hard to see them right now walking around and seeing what remains of part of their town. I'm sure we'll speak to some community members throughout the night on to what they saw throughout the tornado and what they're seeing after in recovery. We'll send it back to you, Stephanie.
Yeah, Jake, it is absolutely heartbreaking to see. We appreciate everything that you're doing there to give us some answers. We know there's a lot of information floating around out there. Our number one job is to keep you safe in circumstances like this. Our number two job is to give you the correct information. So it feels like we're not giving you information quickly. It's because we are working to confirm it. We want you to know what is really happening out there. We know that there's a huge response in Greenfield at this moment. So let the emergency workers do their work and let us relay to you the information that you need to know. And of course, still following severe weather as we speak.
Yeah, and I've got family and friends in Earlham, Greenfield, those areas, and I've been in some communication with them. It is bad there, and I'll tell you what, we still have some areas that we're watching out there. Nothing that's jumping out at us, but it's passing in through Mahaska here to the east of Oskaloosa, northeast of Oskaloosa, still that warning. That's probably the main system that we're watching right now. I was also noting we've had 48,000 people without power because of all the wind damage. It could be tornadoes, could be straight line winds. We've had a lot of damage out there and a lot of power outages across the state of Iowa today, and Jasper County was hit pretty hard as well. But you can see these thunderstorms down in Oskaloosa area, and those still have some rotation with them. They've not produced a tornado ever with that particular cell, but it's the one we're watching until 6:15, that warning, another 10 more minutes. When that warning goes out, that would be the last warning unless we get a new one issued. But right now, still some rotation in Powesheik County and also down into Mahaska County, where there is a warning in effect.
Yeah, Mahaska County, there has been some reports of wall clouds and some lowerings from them, some funnels. So this one is showing us some signals that it's trying to drop something from the clouds. Right now, that rotation pushing north and east of Oskaloosa. The history of it was back when it was closer to Eddyville at the time. So it's moving northeast through Mahaska County quite fast as we get a new velocity signal in here. There's also a little bit of some broad rotation coming in out of Powesheik County, and then some strong winds, and we've heard that out of Traer, some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds and some damage around the Meskwaki area near Toledo. So we're still finding some strong wind and some of these circulations to watch out for, but certainly a devastating day that is still in the Local 5 area, but making its exit here over the next half of an hour. All right, we're going to go back out to Dana Searles, who is in Greenfield. And Dana, you're going to kind of walk us through what you're seeing, Dana.
Yeah, Chris. So we just actually parked and got to a spot that looks like it's hit pretty bad out here. There's a ton of search and rescue right over this way. I'll show you guys some of what we're seeing. This huge tree. You can see the stump is totally out of the ground right there, and that house has just been totally destroyed. And this road is looking pretty bad right here. This is where a lot of the search and rescue that we've seen walking through, and then you can go over through this way and these houses right here. We can see this family right here working to pick up the pieces of their house. We spoke with a few people just as we got out of the car, and a lot of them, some of them were family members coming to check on their family. A lot of them heard the call immediately, and then they came out here immediately. So it's pretty sad right here. We heard there's a house down the road that was moved about like 20 yards off of their foundation. So we're gonna keep making our way down this road, but this seems like to be one of the worst spots that I've seen.
All right, thanks Dana for that report. Just devastating images coming out of Greenfield tonight, and we still don't have any reports of the injuries that might have occurred, but it's been very, very nasty. Now, the weather is not done yet. We still have this rotation here in Mahaska County. It's been broad. It hasn't produced a tornado yet. We've seen some rotation, and Chris, you said there were funnel clouds or at least wall clouds?
Yeah, back near Eddyville, I believe it was, okay. And this one is moving to the north and east, and it will clip Powesheik County as well as it continues to move its way northeast into Keokuk County as well before moving out towards Williamsburg. There is a bit of shearing that's going on up near the Brooklyn and Malcolm area into Powesheik County as well. I'd be watching this area for the possibility of spinning something up. I don't believe there's a tornado warning here, just severe thunderstorm warnings, but the tags basically for almost all of these severe thunderstorm warnings have been that we could see a spin-up tornado along the way for today. Some damaging winds all across Marshall, Jasper, and then up into Tama counties too, getting a refresh of the reflectivity as it pulls into view. Yeah. I'll get you a scope on this cell in Powesheik.
Yeah. And you can see some of that rotation we were talking about here, not too far from the Brooklyn area with inbound, outbound winds creating that rotation north of I-80 there. And again, these are the pockets we're watching. Nothing is standing out as it is tight enough to produce a tornado yet. Maybe we should show the storm reports and we can go back and actually show what time the Greenfield one was maybe when we put up some storm reports. I'm just curious when that happened, because this is going to be the big story here. So these are the reports that we had. We saw it coming this way, 3:45. That's when it basically came into Greenfield. And it was a long track tornado. We think it was on the ground for maybe close to an hour, would you say, Chris?
Yeah, it started down by the Villisca area and continued almost all the way into Madison County, and may have.
So this is Villisca here, the 71 and 34.
So it moved about 50 miles, so that put it on the ground at least intermittently in the span of close to an hour, doing devastation along the way. We have heard of some extensive damage into Adams County too from that tornado, some wind turbines that were taken down, some damage to trees as well, even a fire from one of those turbines, and another long track tornado from about the Polk City area through Zeering.
Yep, right here I saw reports along the interstate, semis were flipped over northbound, north of Ankeny there, between Ankeny and Alleman on the interstate. The semis got flipped because of the tornado in that area. So that tornado did cross I-35 earlier today. So things have been quite active. We've had a number of reports we've had all types of severe weather, but we've had wind. Let's go over to Stephanie.
Yeah, we want to go back out to Greenfield. Jake Brend and photojournalist Ben Neeson have a different angle for us to look at here. Of some, car overturned, look at that. My goodness, Jake, it just takes your breath away. Are you on the line with us, Jake? Not mic'd, okay. So we just want to give you another look here. As we work our way through town, we're just trying to show you the extent of the damage. We know these images are very hard to look at. If you're waiting to hear from a loved one, our thoughts are with you. Reach out to us if there's anything we can do. Reach out to us if there's anything that you'd like answered, because we're trying to get to the bottom of what's going on there too. But every time we see a different image out of Greenfield, it is absolutely devastating. I'm no meteorologist, but boys, I can tell that this was a bad one.
It is. That large tree that was uprooted, that was a very, very old tree, very large tree. The roots were pulled out of the ground. It takes significant wind and a significant tornado to do something like that. And when houses are cleaned off of the foundation, significant tornado. So yeah, it will be all assessed and all of that, but we got to get everybody safe. Anybody that's trapped somewhere, and certainly they're going to be busy through the night trying to rescue people from some of those places out there. Still watching some areas of rotation. It's been broad rotation, thankfully, here, going into Powesheet County and also down to the south in Mahaska County. So nothing is standing out right now. These are moving out of the viewing area, so soon we hopefully can say goodbye to severe weather. Stephanie?
That would be wonderful. I think everybody could use a break. Again, going back out to Greenfield, Brad, you mentioned people being rescued right now. Dana, you are in a location where you just saw people being rescued, or they are, we'll get the camera shot set up here and get Dana on board with us as she moves around town. You're in front of a house where they just rescued some people?
Yes, Stephanie, so I was just talking with the neighbors. So if I'm going to step out of the way, right here, this pile of rubble, that used to be a home standing. And I was just talking to the neighbors next door, and they told me that thankfully there was a woman inside. She didn't have time to make it to her basement, and they pulled her out of the rubble right here, this pile of debris right here. They pulled her out of the rubble, but she is okay. But that just goes to show you that if you weren't, in your basement, it was a really dangerous situation. It goes to show how dangerous this storm was and how safe you need to be and how important it is to get to those storm shelters when we tell you to. But yeah, we're trying to talk to as many people as we can. A lot of people we've talked to are okay. A lot of people just wanted to get out of their house and just see the community. It's really hard for these people out here. They're telling me to just see this in the state that it's in.
Dana, before we let you go, I do have one question for you, and if you don't know the answer, this is totally fine. But from what you can see, is it still an active search and rescue situation in town? Are they still looking for people from what you can see?
Absolutely, it is very active still. I mean, right now you can see law enforcement and search and rescue walking up this road. I was talking to a few of them that have been walking by to see if they know anything or if they've heard anything, and they weren't able to confirm with me. However, it is definitely still active. There are people out here looking. A lot of their equipment, a lot of their cars, we see, bulldozers driving through to try and get through this rubble as quickly as they can. So definitely still active out here.
So grateful for those people who run to the danger, and grateful for the outcome at that house. Dana, thanks for keeping us updated. We appreciate it.
I'm also really glad that we have daylight. I mean, we've got 2 more hours of daylight where they can work and try to help people out there. I've got some information, friends in Earlham telling me that debris actually was reported in Earlham from Greenfield. So we saw that debris ball. Chris and I were watching it. We knew the tornado was large and on the ground, and it carried debris a long ways away.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you have to have a very powerful and violent tornado to be able to do that. Good news is that tornado warning down out of Mahaska County is since gone by the wayside. There is still a severe storm lining up across Tama down into Powesheik County. There are some areas of rotation that bear watching with this, as the last remaining severe cells do pass out of the local 5 coverage area. A couple of reports I have found in the meantime. Construction trailer overturned in Johnson, that would line up with a possible tornado that moves through. And Johnson High School, that has some extensive damage to windows that were blown out from extreme wind there. And unofficially, I haven't personally backed this up, but they're saying that there's no school at the high school tomorrow due to the extensive damage, tree and window damage at the school there.
So yeah, no tornado warnings in effect right now. That is good news. We still have this little bit of a hook down there. We've got thunderstorms still producing some wind and some damage. And again, thousands of people without power across Iowa tonight. The rotation, little pocket there, just in Tama County it looks like. But again, watching that little area there. So no tornado warnings in effect. So we're going to be transitioning into kind of news coverage here probably for the rest of the half hour. If we can go back to Dana or go back out to Jake, we can take a look at what's going on there. We have Connor.
I do believe we have Connor O'Neill, kind of northwest of the Des Moines area. There he is. I see you. Connor, can you hear me?
Yeah, Stephanie, I can hear you.
So tell us where you are.
East of Nevada right now, actually off of Highway. Yeah, we're east of Nevada, Stephanie, on Highway 30. We had come across parts of the road are actually blocked off. There are 2 semis that are tipped over. This is where some of that severe weather came through. 2 semis tipped over just from the heavy winds that came through this area. I'll step out of frame so you can just see what I'm seeing right now. One of the homes, roof completely gone. Some of those brick walls from the front facing of this home off of Highway 30 pushed back and pushed in. The family just picking up the pieces right now and looking at that damage on the inside. Some of the glass from the windows shattered. And then we'll take a look at some of these trees as well on the outside. A lot of the trees completely uprooted, and there are some power lines actually that are damaged off of the road as well. And just take a look at that scene right there, all the way down this road that's completely blocked off right now in Story County, Highway S27. Yeah, blocked off, like I said, by Iowa DOT, some of the fire departments nearby. Power lines completely down, and then right here, we'll take one more look as we're coming across. Truck coming across, facing your screen right now, but the semi down off the side of the highway, you'll see here right in a second. There's one of them, and then just about a half mile down that highway, Highway 30 as well, there is another semi down right there. Just some terrible damage in this area. I'll continue to keep checking out the area and follow up back soon. Stephanie.
Yeah, Connor, we appreciate that very much. Stay safe out there. Thank you so much for updating us on what's going on outside of, as we focus a lot on Greenfield. There's a lot of other areas that are needing our attention right now. I do want to mention we have been told that I-35 southbound is closed because of an accident. This is right around the Ankeny rest area. So if you are heading out, just know that there are some backups there, and there had been some debris even on I-235 that Des Moines Police was tweeting about. So stay home if you can tonight.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not going to help, just stay home. We've got thunderstorms still in eastern Iowa. No tornado warnings in effect, but tornadoes are still possible. So we're watching for circulation, rotation in these areas. I noticed that the power outages up to 63,000 in the state of Iowa. So a lot of damage has been sustained across the state. You can see them moving off to the east here and moving out of central Iowa. Still a pocket of a little shower developing, and there are the warnings that you have in effect effect. Luckily, they're moving out, because if they were sticking around, we'd have more flooding. We've had flooding concerns, we've had tornadoes, we've had wind damage, and just about every type of severe weather possible over the last 24, 36 hours out there. Of course, the hardest hit area, southwest Iowa, Adams County, heading into Greenfield, into Adair County, and devastating. We've got reporters there, and we'll go back to them as soon as we have more information out there. But Stephanie, what do you have?
I don't have a whole lot of updates now, but I do want to mention that we had heard that there was some damage, confirmed damage from Mercy One to their hospital in Adair County. They said they were still investigating, and then we did have a photojournalist on the ground who confirmed that they were removing patients from the hospital there. So if you have a loved one in that hospital, they are working to keep people safe there right now. Chris?
I just want to run you through some of the recent reports that have come in. 1 mile east of St. Mary's in Warren County, some tree limbs down and power poles that were broken. 2 miles to the west of Murray in Clark County, some limbs that were broken and power poles that were broken. And same thing, power line snapped northeast of Waukee in Dallas County. 3 miles to the north and east, some larger branches down and some power lines that have snapped. So a lot of wind and even some tornadoes. All right, let's go to I-35. We'll show you that backup. I believe this is what it's going to correlate to. This is just at the rest area, folks. So a semi parked there and was flipped by thunderstorm winds. And also 35 southbound is closed. Some of the cameras are down. That would give us the best vantage point of that, but we're told that the southbound lanes are blocked very near this same rest area as well. So traffic is not moving through at the moment on 35. Strong winds, and that would have been about the territory that tornado went through, Brad, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think it could have been the tornado, because that is exactly where it went through. North of Ankeny, between Ankeny and Alleman is the path of the tornado, and it wouldn't surprise me if that is from the tornado flipping it, because it was on the ground, it looks like, during that time. Still some strong thunderstorms. They're on the edge of the viewing area. Tama County here, down into Powesheik County, thunderstorms still rolling. Nothing looks alarming. The wind, Chris has that up there as well, but things have been doing a little bit better for us here over the last 30 minutes or so, so that's good news. We'll continue to monitor things here, of course, as well, but boy, what a day it's been, really. And we've had all types of severe weather going back to last night, going back to this morning, and then this afternoon. 3 rounds of severe weather in central Iowa over the last 36 hours. So a lot of cleanup to be done and a lot of news gathering for our crews, especially in the Greenfield area.
Indeed, there is a sign of some circulation coming in on the extreme eastern edge of Tama County. This would be north of Chelsea, south of Cloutier, right along about Highway 30. Those outbound winds are awfully strong. So in that area, I'd be watching for something trying to spin up. This would soon be passing off into Benton County, I believe, and then handing off to our ABC affiliate, KCRG, out into Cedar Rapids with coverage on that. But the last little bit is still lingering and loitering. We're ready to kick this to the curb, as it has been an extensive day, not only just with these thunderstorms here this evening, but look at all the flooding icons that are in there too. We had extensive rain overnight. Every dot you see here is denoting either flooding, hail, thunderstorm wind, or tornado.
Yeah, a lot of severe weather. Every type of severe weather that we could imagine has come through. And, you know, we had a drought. I don't think there's a drought. Maybe dry areas in parts of northeast Iowa, but even there, I think we're going to see that at least we got rid of the drought with all this stormy weather. That's the only good news out there. Estimated 48-hour rainfall. So this will take a while to populate, but it's going to probably be pretty extensive out there. And this was kind of the driest area up around Waterloo. And look how much rain they've gotten there. That could be 6 or 8 inches of rainfall in some of those areas. There's a 9-inch rainfall. This is estimated over the last 2 days in those areas, and Chris is just kind of highlighting some of those areas. So yeah, we have done a big damage to that drought, which is good news out there. So that, at least there's a silver lining there. But our focus really from this moment forward is just recovery there in Greenfield. Hit hard, and we should go back to some of those images, because that is the story right now, because our storms are moving out. out. So Greenfield hit by a very strong tornado and devastating damage in that area. Do we have anybody that can?
We do, Brad. We're going to go back out to Greenfield where we have Jake Brand and photojournalist Ben Neeson. They've spent a little bit of time there and gotten to speak to some people in Greenfield. So we'll just get their shot up if we can. You know, we're working live TV here. We're kind of working on the fly, everyone. There he is. There's Jake. Jake, you had a moment to just take it all in and talk to a few people. What are you learning from people in Greenfield?
Yeah, Stephanie, I just talked to a woman who's lived here her whole life. Her name was Valerie. We're standing right in front of her house. You can't see it, it's behind the camera, but the storm went just directly by it. She said it sounded like a freight train, kind of the stereotype that you hear about most tornadoes, and that it wasn't even here 5 minutes. She ran around her house, she prayed in every corner, took her cat downstairs and walked outside and see exactly what you're seeing right now. It's unexplainable, the damage that you're seeing here, and she reiterated something that I've already been saying, which is you can't really put it into words until you see it. You can see storm damage, you can see tornado, hurricane damage on camera, on TV, on the news, but once you actually see it in person, it just strikes a chord a little bit different. And to see these great people of Greenfield, population just about 2,000 people, they said they know everybody. They know everybody in this town. Everybody knows each other, and they've been walking around seeing the damage. They've been walking around seeing the trees out of the ground, the houses that are ruined, but most importantly, they've been walking around and checking on others to see if they are okay. Stephanie, we'll send it back to you from Greenfield.
Jake, thank you. And this is a response we see time and time again in our state when something absolutely terrible happens. We see people embrace one another, roll up their sleeves, pitch in to help. We know this is hitting Greenfield hard. This is breaking their hearts and our hearts to watch. We know they will come back better than ever. This has a tendency to strengthen communities. Taking a look at some of the emergency responders here who are trying to keep those roads clear. We've got crews coming from all over to respond to Greenfield to get people the medical care that they need. We've only heard a few reports of injuries. We're working on that. They're working on that. They probably don't know a lot of information right now, so we are working to get more of that for you. We're going to be here all night. We're going to be on air, online. We're going to be in Greenfield and in these areas that need our thoughts and our concerns and our efforts right now. And we're winding down the severe weather in our viewing area, correct, Chris?
Yeah, we are. It's pushing out to the east. I have the radar picture lined up from when this tornado struck Greenfield, and just looking at it around 3:40 or so is when this one pulled in and to the south side, and there is a little bit of wiggle room down to the ground on these things as they move through it. It sounds like the south and east side of town was impacted the greatest. We're just after 3:40. It was quickly in and quickly out and caused extensive devastation.
Yeah, so again, 3:40, 4 o'clock. That is the biggest hit area. Of course, everybody just about had some type of damage from these storms today, and it's been a problem. So weather's winding down. We don't have a weather threat here, so the remainder of the newscast we will continue to talk about. And I don't know, go ahead, Stephanie.
Yeah, this is just coming in from Madison County Emergency Management. They are confirming they are helping in Greenfield, of course. Madison County dealt with a similar situation just a couple years ago, so they're well versed on this. They are helping with the cleanup, with the emergency response, but they do emphasize this: if you are not an emergency responder, please stay away from the area. It's not safe. They're coordinating their crews. Everybody is being put on the same page. So if you show up and you haven't been asked to be there, it could complicate things. I know it's hard to watch from the sidelines, but at this moment, all we want to do is help, and the best way we can do is to just stay away. We are wrapping up our coverage right now. Again, we have 2 crews in Greenfield. We are monitoring the situations with injuries, with rescues, with who is helping out. what you need to know out there in Greenfield. We also have a crew just outside of Nevada right now. We're going to continue to follow these hard-hit areas. We'll bring you the best information we possibly can. We'll see you throughout the night, and we will see you online. Be well, be safe. We are Iowa.